engage in the front line, not to mention the baseline of Trundle if things get messy. I think the red composition has a lot of pros as well.
Yeah, I definitely agree. It's just that there's two people in particular. Playing Trundle here and playing Varus here don't seem like the best positions for those champs. So we'll see.
Yeah.
They can outplay though. They definitely have a lot of outplay options. Just have to keep in mind the Pantheon semi-global at all times too to worry about those picks.
So for a lot of North American fans, I know that when we see Brazil each year, when we go to international competition and face them, for a lot of North American fans, when you think of Brazil, you think of high-octane, in-your-face, frequent PvP types of games. Yesterday for 100 Thieves versus Pain, game number 1 was actually a pretty slow burn at the start. So I'm curious if Red Canids are going to want to play this first one slow, kind of get a feel for what Shopify is bringing, or if we're just going to get super fast-paced, pedal-to-the-metal League of Legends.
I think usually whether you want to play fast or not, the first game in a new environment, especially in Elimination Series, is going to be a little bit slower. But I also want to introduce us a bit to Red for the fans in the North here, because they did have a very interesting road here and some more history about the team. So they have been a team since 2016. As we mentioned before, they are the 2nd seed from the LTA South, but then also 20 years old, 19 years old, 21 years old, and 20 years old after you get past FNB, who's the veteran, the top laner. And because they had a rough start to the year is actually why they added all these young players from their academy team that led to their big resurgence.
Yeah, and their academy team did win first place in Tier 2 in order to earn this triple promotion. They had Doom subbing in a couple games first, and then committed fully to having all 3 of them, and it really has just completely changed the look of the team, especially their mid laner. A lot of focus on Kaze here to see what he can do, especially on Akali.
Okay, so tracking our junglers, we are starting on opposite sides of the map here, both of them beginning in their respective red quadrants. Contracts just ticking level 3 there as he clears past the chicken camp. Doom at a very similar pace, moving towards that bottom side of the map, but it is Shopify Rebellion who have controlled the push down here in this bottom lane, and this is kind of just showing what you were talking about earlier, Jat, like when you have the Varus, you don't want to constantly be outranged just because you're playing Kai'Sa, so the duo with the Nico just allows you to have that extra control and maintain priority over the wave.
And I feel like there's going to be a lot of confidence from Shopify Rebellion in these matchups as well, based off of what's happened North versus South so far this year. It was 8-1 in Split 1 when the North teams went down to Brazil, and so far it is 3-0, even though those games were close. So until proven otherwise on stage, Shopify and the North should be playing with a lot of confidence in these matchups.
Yep. Okay, current count 11-1 then.
11-1. That's
okay.
Some powerful stuff. That's greater than a 90% win rate. It's like a 92 or something.
I'm still going to predict 3-1 in every single series. Just because
you just have a default plan.
I mean, I just feel like there's so much variance that can be injected in these games by teams from the South, especially with the way that Red play, taking so many fights that are confusing that they're taking them, but it's because they always think they're going to win the fights, which if you're not prepared for and playing a disciplined game, can definitely punish you.
All right, well, Palafox on his first back had enough for his refillable, plus no magic mantle here, getting the early magic resist against Akali. For once Akali starts to get level 5, she tries to soften you up and prep you for possible plays on her ultimate on level 6, and so he's got his defenses in place.
I also want to talk about the top lane as Seos is getting a little cheeky with the recall interrupt, but this top lane where FNB, we have some Rumble stats from his time in the South.
Pretty good.
I believe he's been pretty good on Rumble. Actually, my broadcast stats button is unfortunately not working for this one, so I trolled you. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong screen. 13-3 on Rumble. But Fudge is doing very well in the Aurora. He's had him pushed in this entire time and is applying a lot of pressure.
And this is kind of one of the things that I mentioned back in the draft. There have been a lot of Northern top laners who have been shy about taking the Aurora into that lane in particular. Fudge is not one of them. He has had some games on this champion before. We know how powerful and oppressive it can be into a good matchup just because it is one of those ranged top laners with huge amounts of burst. It's deceptive and hard to lock it down and actually be able to punish it. So if Fudge can keep playing this aggressively while avoiding whatever the counterpunch is from Red Canids, life is going to stay pretty difficult up here for FNB.
Okay, so we've got both junglers here actually, just out of vision. Yeah, Doom hovering to make sure that Kaze finishes his push in. Contracts was coming by to make a little swipe at him, but those minions do start dying to the tower, so dropping a couple there for Palafox. Now he's trying to pull these other ones here to make sure they don't crash in.
And there they go. Easy peasy. Little ranged minions paused right outside that tower aggro range, exactly where they want them. You can see biggest individual gold leads so far during these first 5 minutes of play are there for Kaze in the mid lane with his Akali, and bottom side down there for B-Boy's Kaisa. This is going to be a big one, I think, for Shopify Rebellion. Whenever you see Kaisa, you know you are going to get action-packed AD carry gameplay because she's joining the divers. B-Boy's going to be jumping in there, and I really want to see him lock in, have the right positioning, the right timings going in with Palafox, with Seos for these big pop blossoms, because Shopify Rebellion has so many engaged tools. I want to see them picking fights.
I kind of like this from Doom. They're bottom lane pushing in, so he's able to start up the dragon here. Meanwhile, Contracts is kind of on the top side of the map looking. Does get a solo flash here. Good job from Fudge.
Yeah, Fudge making sure he can aggressively use that Aurora ult there as soon as he sees the opportunity. FNB now without the flash. His teleport was already used earlier, and he's down to 1/3 HP. FNB has to fall back.
Yeah, it's an uncontested dragon they're giving up for this, though, because Pantheon was topside, and Trundle just started this very early, so Contracts is going to hope to get something done, at the very least making him recall and lose this whole wave top lane, which will hopefully pay off for Shopify later in the game, because giving over an early Mountain Drake, when there's such an engaged, burst-focused team, it's a really nice Drake for Red to have.
Yeah, I like the fact that they went for it that early, seizing the opportunity, taking control over that, using the bottom lane priority to just guarantee that Shopify Rebellion doesn't have anything to say about it. And they get it so early that it also means you're not compromising your possible position on the grubs afterwards either. It's still about 60 seconds until those grubs spawn. Plenty of time for everybody on Red Canids to go back, make their purchases, get their resets, and get back out onto the map in time to contest for that highly contested neutral objective. Palafox again, though. These trades in the mid lane, that Akali damage is rough.
Yeah, good job there from Kaze. Nice little trade from him. Palafox chugging away on his refillable potion, but he's going to be dry. Both of his charges will be used, and Kaze still has both of his ready. So we've got the swap going down here for the grub fight. Both of the duo lanes heading up to the top side, as we're only 15 seconds away from the spawn of these. The mid lane trades are kind of meaningful for the setup for this fight.
Now, one thing that's also worth noting, both top laners, because they have moved into that lane swap state, neither one of them has their teleport coming back off cooldown in any reasonable amount of time. It's still going to be a couple of minutes on both of those, so that means that Fudge and FNB both cannot participate unless they take a long walk up here for this grub fight. Doom is going to pass by mid lane here. He sees the opportunity on Palafox. The Fate Seal is going to get blocked by Kaze, and it's first blood for Red Canids Galunga.
Great job from Kaze there. Gets right in on Palafox. He goes back where his soul is unbound from, and then he's able to get in there, invade the ultimate. Contracts.
Doom having to flash away from that one. Did not want to get caught out there, but now Contracts could be in some danger. The Subjugate has already been used. Chains of Corruption here for the follow-up. Contracts gets picked, and Red Canids working some magic.
And Red is always willing to fight. Also got to say, very disrespectful move by Contracts there. They were down a player. Palafox wasn't respawned yet, can't teleport back when he's still dead. So it is a 4v3. Palafox is engaged, just gets flashed out, and Red has all the time in the world to turn it back around. So they take a nice early kill lead in this game.
Palafox and Seos now looking to see if they can get any punish here on Doom. Nice little binding as Contracts jumps in here too. A little bit more damage, seals the deal. Palafox taking the kill on that one as Shopify make their way onto the board. They will catch the Red Canids jungler as he tries to finish off the last part of the grub pack. So Shopify keeping this game close.
Yeah, people were expecting a bloody game, and going to keep these fights going. Again, the Pantheon ultimate that we mentioned, the tool that's enabling Shopify to get one back here in terms of kills and in terms of grubs. But Red still up here with 2 objectives, with getting the 2 grubs means that plus the Mountain Dragon, setting them up for the objective feats and ahead in the kills as well.
But interestingly enough, Shopify is ahead in gold. So the wave that...
A lot of fudge.
Yeah, the wave that
yes,
Fudge got
sir.
enough, but they're going for Palafox again. Soul unbound.
Well, he ought to be fine. The Shuriken flip tags him, but he's too close to the turret. Immediately, if Kaze tried to jump in there, would have taken a lot of damage from that.
Yeah, he rushed into the Hex Drinker to try and deal with all this burst damage from Akali, but Kaze is feeling so good on Proto Belt, plus the Dark Seal triple stacks for him.
Oh, Palafox again being forced to use that defensive fate sealed. The Yone ulti never being available just severely limits Palafox's playmaking.
Yeah, as you mentioned, big item disadvantage for Palafox right now. And if there is a window for Red to be winning this one, it might be through the mid lane. And these are obviously conference-specific stats, so take it with that grain of salt. But Kaze has been performing at an extremely high level, especially that gold difference at 14. So the early game in the laning phase has really been his strength, and I think we're seeing why so far in this game.
Palafox is going to have to lock in, make sure he's ready for this Akali as the game keeps going forward. We do have 45 seconds until that next Drake spawns. Remember that it was Red Canids taking the first one, no contest out of Shopify. If they get one more neutral objective, they will also secure that progress towards the feats of strength. As Doom is hanging around up here, seeing if maybe there's a move to be made, but you're also going to see the Nico clone from Seos doing a little bit of scouting, making sure that Red Canids doesn't have anything planned. Palafox wants to step up, try to continue these short bursty trades with Kaze, but Kaze's just waiting in the smoke on the Soul Unbound. Sure, he can flip, find some burst. Palafox has already lost the Hex Drinker shield, but Kaze has to flash away. Now Seos wants to follow this up, see if he might be able to catch this out, find the full punish. Kaze's still walking, he does not have his flash. One more auto attack's gonna do it. Seos gets the kill, and that's another one for Shopify Rebellion, but now FNB's made his way up to the fight. Palafox is already cooked, and Seos is next on the menu. Frosty jumps towards him, it's a double kill to FNB. Back in the mid lane, we're not done yet, as Rebello has to try to get away from Contract, but Doom is right next to him, and he's ready to turn this play around. Red Canids, 5-2. Shopify Rebellion is made to look foolish, as Brazil came to play.
The teleport from FNB. Rumble gets up there and collects both of the kills, taking down Palafox, taking down Seos, and really boosting this gold lead for Red.
Any advantage that Fudge may have accumulated over FNB in the laning phase has been reversed with that teleport play. He gets plates after the fight as well. Now 600 gold up on the Aurora, and as you mentioned, Flowers, 5 kills to 2.
Okay, so we're going to look at it again. Again, these trades, Kaze has been whittling down Palafox, kind of prepping him for a lot of these plays, and this is going to be his attempt on the tower dive.
Yeah, you can see lands the E on the Soul Unbound, but then really tries to get the angle, probably takes one more turret shot than he wants to. The chase here from Seos is very telegraphed, and I'd say worth it to go for the kill, not worth it for Palafox to back this up. He's already flashless, altless, and on about 300 health, so they're extremely vulnerable once the teleport comes in.
Yeah, I mean, the teleport right there, channeling in the Pixel Brush the entire time, and they just walk right up. But then we have a further skirmish in the mid lane,
Yep.
and we know that the junglers still do not have flashes. So when you all commit like this, you know, and the barrier is there for Rebello, so he was just fine in it.
And when Trundle can walk up to you, press R, and start chomping you, you evaporate. Contract used the early. Another fight, though.
We're not done. Red Canids trying to fall back into their own jungle now as Shopify Rebellion press forward. Focused onto Frosty here with the start. Subjugate comes in from Doom. Frosty is already down. Shopify have found 2. Rebello also dead. Kaze tries to get away, but B-Boy is on the hunt. Seos cuts off the escape, and Fudge has Doom trapped underneath the turret. It's 3 kills for 1 for Shopify Rebellion, and they're right back in it.
This time it's Shopify teleporting in. They teleport Palafox in. They force the fight. They collect the dragon in the aftermath. And just like that, they deleted the 1,000 gold lead.
Let's go. And this is exactly what it was like when I was checking out the Red Canids games over in the South. There'd be a replay, you'd come out, and they'd be fighting again. So we're getting exactly that full experience right here. Let's see how this one actually started. This Contracts is camped on the control ward, and him and Fudge get the jump on the Trundle, knowing he's flashless and altless, which is a good start to the fight, Kobe.
Yeah, Kaze actually does a decent chunk on Fudge there. He gets out a good amount of damage. Then he has to go over the wall with his ult. His E Shuriken follows Palafox to kill him, though. But up on the top side, Seos and B-Boy already deleted the Varus, and B-Boy knows that he can then flash to clean up that Akali that just took down 1.
And the big thing there is the teleport that FNB used earlier to get the 2 kills. He didn't have for that fight, and it meant he couldn't make it there. It was a 5v4 the whole time.
All right, we are seeing plays from both sides rapidly in this game. Remember that fans can still cast their ballots for the Kia Player of the Year, Kia Rookie of the Year, and Kia All-Pro teams using the QR code on your screen right now. So if you're liking what you're seeing, if you're liking some bloody League of Legends, particularly in the mid lane, the race for that All-Pro is coming down to the wire. So make sure you get your votes in now. I'm honestly really impressed that I was able to finish reading that out without another team fight occurring, because I feel like both teams are just so ready to keep going. We still do not have the Feats of Warfare awarded. It's credit towards the kills for Red Canids. Nobody's got the first turret. Red Canids have 2 neutral objectives. Shopify only have the 1, but the Rift Herald is on the map.
Okay, right now, too, Fudge was kind of hovering through the jungle, thinking if Shopify wanted to make on play on mid or not. They decide, they call off the play on mid, and Fudge just goes back to the bottom wave. But his teleport is ready, so both him and FNB will have easy times joining this fight. Kaze as well has his ready, so if they decide that they really want those feats and they go for the Herald fight flowers, then it could be another 10-person banger.
Yeah,
all right.
Kaze a big threat, but you look like Palafox is going for one.
Yeah, they want Rebello instead. Contracts tries to make his entry, but a nice change of corruption from Rebello slows it down. Contracts still surviving for now, but it is a 1-for-1 off to the side. Palafox going to be focused at the same time. B-Boy's already down 2. Shopify Rebellion have already lost 3 men, and Red Canids aren't done yet. Kaze looks for a little bit more, but Fudge gets him back. The Aurora trying to be the hero. Fudge still here on the front line. A double kill over to Fudge. It's going to be another one dead. There are so many dead bodies on Summoner's Rift. It looks like a graveyard.
9 down. Only Doom is still alive because Doom was focusing on the objectives. Doom wants those feet flowers. He wants those shoes upgrades.
He's got them.
Classic jungler experience. Guys, let's focus the objective as everybody else in the whole game dies. Let's walk this.
Dive.
I mean, the engage was okay. Contracts gets one shot. I'd say Kaze extremely clean, dodging out of the Nico ultimate, but the fight could just be over here. Huge win for Red. They continue to want to fight, though. Fudge does a great job turning this one around with the Aurora ultimate. Again, it should probably be done here, and they go for it again.
Yeah, FMB flashes under the turret to get both of them. He does kill them both off.
Worth.
But ends up dying, and the team grabs the objective. So the Herald.
My goodness.
That a 9-death team fight at Rift Herald.
That wasn't even at Rift Herald. That was in mid lane, buddy.
At mid lane while Rift Herald was alive.
Yes, and while someone's doing it.
All right, Doom now in a little bit of danger here. He gets rooted by Seos, but he'll just continue walking away. Contracts and B-Boy aren't close enough to follow up on that as FNB clears out the wave, keeps protecting that tier 1 turret down there in the bottom lane. Red Canids have their powered up shoes, so it's not like the first turret means anything more than just the turret itself. It is still about a 700, 800 gold lead here for Shopify Rebellion, and it's less than a minute until the next Drake spawns, which means it's less than a minute until the next team fight.
Yeah, maybe faster with how it's going. But I would say the execution from Shopify does need to be clean, especially with all the gold that's in the pockets of Red now. If Frosty gets a good ultimate onto a group, and now the 5-kill Rumble who's stacking out items throws something down on top of that, they're going to take everyone into execute range for Kaze's Akali. So I really think that Shopify need to look fairly diligently for these side lane picks, because there are still squishy champions on the side of Red. They have the Pantheon ultimate, but if they end up fighting into the Trundle and the Rel, I think Shopify is going to have a hard time.
Yeah, I think, too, they really need to mark this Akali. Kaze was kind of running circles around him, juking Seos' ultimate out there. If they can actually mark the Akali, then their chances will be a lot higher.
Okay, 1 minute until Otacon. I'm sure that one is going to become a very eventful affair in this game as well, but that Drake is currently up, so we'll see who decides to prioritize that first as FNB ganked by Contracts here. Fudge providing the extra burst, and the redemption will not heal him in time. Shopify get the pick.
One of the reasons why people highly prioritize this Pantheon, those picks in the side lane, able to use it and take down FNB. The Rumble had just gotten a very powerful 2-item power spike with the Bloodletter's Curse finished, and the stacks on his Dark Seal really starting to stack up. So they take down the stacks, and they start up the objective.
They probably should be able to take this one, but Akali's on the way, and Palafox is still pushing top, so Red might fancy their chances trying to contest this.
Doom was standing by the blast cone. Red Canids stepping up. Seos goes in, finds the Pop Blossom, but it's only onto a single target, and it's Doom. He hops into the Rift Herald trying to get away. Kaze assassinates Seos in the backline at the same time. Red Canids in a 4v5 are winning the fight. Contracts dies too. Kaze's still alive. least gets one back, but the Yone can't get away. He tries to flash over the wall, but he misses the mark. The blast cone knocks Doom back over, and now Palafox finding the damage onto Frosty. Shopify Rebellion are getting kills back. Fudge is back into the pit trying to kill Doom. Palafox gets flashed onto the wall as Doom escapes. It's 15 to 13, 20 minutes into the game.
What is going on? Fudge is still on the run from the Rumble as well.
That is League of Legends right there. Fudge gonna circle around with the Aurora double. He's on a ward,
they see him.
He's on a ward.
Oh, he gets equalized. He tries to go across the veil. He's trying to get away from this one. He should still be alive. Seos is alive.
Okay, so the problem for Shopify there is that when Seos went for the ultimate on Rebello had a good flash disengage. It only caught Frosty, and then Contracts used his stun on Frosty as well, on the Rel. And so a lot was used on the Rel, but Rebello had flashed out and was able to actually win versus B-Boy in the backline as well.
Well, it's because Doom flew in the Rift Herald to join the fight as well, so it ended up being a 2v1 for B-Boy in the backline. B-Boy had an early advantage, but he's falling a little bit behind here. They really need him to be strong. So when he ults in these backlines, he's able to get a kill. Dragon's still up. The teams have actually redeployed to the waves temporarily, but we're going to get a fight at any moment. Make sure you're catching your breath and drinking your water flowers.
Yep, don't worry. We've got 3 different waters here. I'm making sure that I'm staying hydrated for this one. B-Boy, though, he gets caught out by Frosty. The chains of corruption to follow it up from Rebello. B-Boy tried as hard as he could, but nice catch there from Red Canids, and now they're going to take the Drake, too.
I think he felt safe because Contracts had just passed through River and gone up to this position here. But he didn't check the brush that was the line brush between River and mid lane, and so there's a control ward and a Rel sitting in it, and he gets engaged on. That's going to be Dragon for Red as well. Another objective cleanly earned.
So clean. So clean here in game number 1. You know, coming into this, we were expecting game number 1 to be the slower paced one.
They have started the Otacon.
They're warmed up.
Oh boy, yeah, we're already going in on this.
Only Palafox.
Palafox is having an honorable 1v1 with Dark Souls boss Otacon, but he's immediately deciding to just walk back through the fog on that one, as Shopify do not want to overextend at the Otacon here.
It's kind of nice. It drew everybody up towards the top lane and let Fudge take that turret uncontested. He's now clearing another wave. So with being 3 kills down, Shopify still even in gold. So we still have a lot of League of Legends to play. Like, despite there being 29 kills, this by no means resolves anything. We have no idea who's going to win game 1.
It's a close game, man. 500 gold, 22 minutes into the game. Whether the score is 29 kills or 2 kills. Here we go. All right, Palafox deciding it's time to try out the boss fight once more. Kaze is still hanging around up here. You can see the Nico clone being used for the powerful vision that it provides. Palafox just trying to keep Otacon dragged as far to the left as he can without making him fully lose his patience. But Otacon also hit the minion wave there, so that means that Red Canids are probably going to have that automatically keep pushing forward. Palafox once more deciding he does not want to keep up this duel with Otacon.
I mean, he's got a Bork too, so he can heal most of it back on the wave. He's about 1,000 health down at the moment, though, so definitely a little questionable, but he's, you know, he's buying time for Fudge. Technically, there's still no one matching him in the bot lane.
He was seeing if there was a sneak angle, and there has not been a sneak angle.
There were security cameras on the Otacon. He could not sneak in, but he goes in for the fate sealed on Kaze now. Kaze and Frosty both trying to escape from this one. As Contracts arrives, Frosty with a defensive crash down into the Magnet Storm. A little bit more burst should do it, and the Redemption can't keep him alive. Fudge goes on a killing spree. Now Fudge popping the stasis to survive FNB's counterattack, and FNB's down 2. Rebello is assassinated by B-Boy off to the side. That's 3 kills for nothing. Shopify Rebellion.
And most importantly, Palafox can now take down Otacon.
Yes,
he's just been practicing. I mean, but honestly, this was a really good play by Shopify. Palafox saw that angle and just absolutely went for it before Red was grouped up. Shopify starts the fight before Red is ready for it and get a very easy 3-0. The thing I want to shout out in this fight is actually a beautifully timed Seeker's Arm Guard activation by Fudge to stop the re-engage, but an easy fight win for Shopify.
Yeah, so Palafox moves on up here. They're going to start channeling their teleport as soon as they confirm that his ultimate did hit Kaze, and they let loose with the Pantheon ultimate once again so they can go for the full chase. But here is what you're talking about. Fudge gets hit by the Varus ultimate, and you think, oh, he is just cooked right now, but thankfully for him, he does have the arm guard activation.
And then on the bottom side of the fight, B-Boy essentially gets a solo kill onto Rebello. That's what you want in the Kai'Sa versus Varus matchup. You want to be able to close to melee range and just 1v1 duel him. And I think because they pulled everyone up towards Fudge, it gave B-Boy that angle.
Yeah, when everyone is looking up at the fight that's taking place in transition, they sometimes get caught there unawares. And now Shopify, with the Otacon buff, as well as increasing the gold lead here, are looking to spread the map. This is from Champion Select, what we thought was going to be one of the big strengths here for this comp for Shopify. They've got the Yone and the Aurora to split push, and Pantheon Ultimate here to look for picks. But Palafox seems to be the one getting picked.
Yes, Palafox now finds himself on the wrong side of Summoner's Rift, and FNB and Doom are on the hunt. Palafox wants to use the teleport to get away, and he successfully makes enough distance to do it. He's joining up with the rest of Shopify, who have started the Baron. Doom is on the other side of the map. The Baron is already down to half HP. Red Canids coming in as Kaze goes through the Hex Gate. The Baron's still down to about 2,000. Red trying to steal it away, but Contract secures it. Kaze looking for the back line, but instead he's going to be locked up by Seos. Contract's trying to do a Frosty off to the side, but now he's got to flash away just to survive. Bevoy's going to be the next target. Doom hunting him down. FNB with a flash over the wall. He's ready to look for more. Fudge still running. Palafox wants to turn it around, and Doom takes a lot of damage, but it is not enough. The Q3 does not connect. It's Baron over to Shopify at the cost of B-Boy.
That's still a good play net for Shopify, and it's all kicked off by Palafox pushing like a maniac in the sideline, drawing all the pressure and giving them time to burn the Baron. There is a bit of a rule, like when it's past 25 minutes, if your jungler shows bottom lane, you can lose Baron. So that's what happens here, and Shopify started immediately.
Yeah, I mean, that is the jungler, and from the indicator, that is the Rumble with no teleport. So they committed 2 people that have no way of getting back to the Baron to try and pick off the split pusher that's furthest away. And then Shopify, the call is clear. You definitely burn it here. Yes, there is a Varus, but you got to hit those smites, and Contracts does.
Man, gets the stun onto Kaze at the end, but they can't quite execute him. We got a lot of action coming up very soon, though, with the next Drake being up.
Yep, the Nico clone going to check the brush. Red Canids, you can tell they want to fight for it. I don't know if there's been any objective that they don't want to fight for so far in this game, but it is a 3,000 gold lead, plus the extra power from Baron for Shopify here for the next 90 seconds.
The common theme before a lot of these fights, though, is Shopify has the waves pushed. So whenever these fights happen, Shopify is winning on tempo. They've done the same thing here. Top lane's pushed, mid lane's pushed in, Palafox pushed out bottom lane before shadowing here to the river. So Shopify has more possibilities of getting the right angle for a fight.
Yeah, they've had better allocations, and again, that is their point with this comp, to push the map. And now, though, grouping everybody up with the Baron buff, the Baron buff is going to be enough to really whittle this tower down. It just barely does stay alive, and there we go. Doom is kind of walking in. See if they can actually finish the dragon. They've got Palafox just working away at it himself. He should be able to clean it up easily.
Exactly. Palafox's job is to kill neutral objectives this game. First it was the Otacon, now he's the Dragon Man.
And, I mean, again, the Yone on the split push there, the best part about the play is the escape, because that's the, like, unsure part. The being able to get his full ultimate into an instant teleport channel after knowing that the Trundle pillar was already used. And, of course, there's no more CC with either of those 2 champions. That's what really makes it click.
Yeah, and I want to give credit. The fight they won before the Otacon was started by Palafox. The Baron that they got was started by Palafox playing in the side lane and avoiding getting executed. So despite being 2-5 and not having massive teamfight moments, he's made a couple of game-altering plays for the positive way for Shopify here.
No, I wholeheartedly agree. Also, because you pointed it out and how important it was when he used it last, the Seeker's arm guard from Fudge, he broke that, it managed to survive the fight for him, and then right after that fight, he had enough money to purchase the fully upgraded Zhonya. So Fudge will be able to do that in every future team fight, as Red Canids are now scrambling to try to defend their own side of the jungle. They don't want to allow Shopify to continue choking them out of vision. Kaze still always looking for these flank angles. He knows he's on a control ward, so Shopify do not have vision of it.
Yeah, I mean, Red have been going like 50-50 in the actual fights, but the macro has been the struggle. Here we go, Kaze.
All right, Kaze wants to go in after Seos, but he jumps back in time for the Pop Blossom to interrupt him. It's still not enough that Seos is down. Contract's the next target here as the Red Canids are not done yet. Contract survives for a little while, but it's 2-0, Red.
Yeah, the actual fights, though, they're looking good. They get the pick here on the exit. They had, Akali waiting in the tri-brush, and did result in a couple of picks. We'll see what this is about.
Yeah, really interesting to figure out what this pause was, because it looked like a pretty straightforward fight by Red. Maybe it's a peripheral issue, I would hope, rather than some type of in-game bug that they're suspecting, because overall, this game has been as bloody as we would hope for with how many fights we have. And I think you have an update, Flowers?
Yeah, the update on the pause is that Contracts apparently accidentally kicked the monitor cable, so his screen went black, and now they just need to plug the monitor cable back in so he can continue playing.
All right. Acceptable.
So, yeah, just about the easiest pause we could ask for. Yeah, just plug the thing back in, and then we'll hopefully be back on the rift in just a second.
Don't kick it again.
Yeah.
That's the harder part.
Kicking it is that's the original problem.
Plugging it back in is easy.
Yeah. He never stopped moving during the fight. Sometimes it can get a little rough where, like, if your screen blanks out before the fight, you might consider some type of chrono break or something, but this seems as straightforward as possible.
Yeah, sometimes when your screen is black, it does get a little hard to play.
Well, after he was dead as well, so it's easy. You can still click when your screen's off. All right, we're back in.
Okay, we're getting back into the game now. We still have an incredibly bloody game number one. It is 35 kills, and despite Shopify having the 2,500 gold lead, despite the Drakes being even, Red Canids is still ahead in kills, 19-16.
And also, I want to just check on the gold for these guys so far this game. Fudge way ahead of everybody else. He's been cleaning up on this Aurora, and his bursts and his flanks are the biggest thing to watch for. I'd also say down at the bottom, their contracts a little bit squishy when he flies into these fights. They really need to make sure that they're playing quickly off of his engages, because I still would say if it's a really organized 5v5 fight, the Rumble, the Rel, the Trundle do have a lot of power, so Shopify have to continue to execute these fights quickly.
Big thing about that total goal, I don't think Palafox should be able to find a whole lot more here unless Kaze just takes him out. Palafox snaps back, and Kaze takes him down. Nicely done there for the Red Canids mid laner, but now B-Boy gets one back. Assassination through the Acathian Rain Killer Instinct combo. Frosty's coming around from the side, but immediately Contracts ults in. Doom's going to be your target, but FNB turns on the afterburners. Doom still barely hanging on. Contracts chases after FNB for another stun, but the Redemption heals the Rumble up a little bit, but not enough. Frosty drops next. Two-man Pop Blossom from Seos. Shopify Rebellion wipe the Canids off the map.
Another play by the genius midfielder.
People just don't understand.
He set up the ace.
I mean, in a sense, he did. He got Kaze in a bad situation. The fight ended up being chaotic. I would say during the chase, a couple of critical things. Rebello, the fight moved away from the Varus, and the Otacon AoE damage and slow was really important in this fight, Kobe.
Okay, so the critical thing is, of course, Fudge. You just showed the gold and Fudge being at the top. Fudge just teleport in. This is Avengers Assemble. B-Boy ults in, Fudge teleports in. Varus misses the ultimate from up here. Fudge and Contracts decide, we're just going all in. That was the ultimate, and Fudge uses his Zonias again, but they can then chase around the corner, and then Contracts has the confidence here on Pantheon to keep going into it because they still have the follow-up. Seos' ultimate is still ready to catch the rest of them.
Yeah, and as you saw with these people dying, the AoE slow kept catching them, which made the chase a little bit easier. Palafox knows the stats are not going to reflect his impact this game.
5D chess.
Yeah. I may have gotten solo killed. I had 0 assists in this fight, but we aced him.
But he set it up.
He did have one on the Kali for sure.
Oh, true. Sorry.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
I apologize.
None of this revisionist history.
Yeah.
We got to make sure we're giving the credit. 21-20 now. Shopify have finally seized control over the kill count. They are still 5,000 gold ahead. They've got twice as many flower petals as Red Canids do as well, with the 28-14 count in that. So just more extra stats that they have up over the Canids. Guardian Angel now completed for Contracts. Also a very important purchase. I expect to see some YOLO Pantheon ultis coming up here. Coming up soon here.
And honestly, too, Palafox here is level 16 with the triple item crit power spike with Infinity Edge on the Yone. So definitely a very, very threatening.
And alongside it, Seeker's Arm Guard for B-Boy. So everybody has the I'm going to go in and not get punished buttons ready to lock.
I will say at the end of the day, if you're on Shopify and they win this game, you're honoring Fudge.
Yes.
Yeah. His discipline in the side lanes as well as his entrances to team fights is what's adding to this gold lead, but we have a fight mid.
Hold on now. We got a potential problem here as Fudge does get caught out. The stasis to try to keep himself alive a little bit longer. He goes between worlds and he gets away. Fudge still alive. Contracts in the middle of everybody as Palafox swoops in to try to help. Rebello's going to be bursted down as Frosty goes with them. Now Red Canids, their jungler and top laner can't get away. Kaze's about to get assassinated off to the side. Even without it, it's a triple kill over to Palafox. They thought they caught Fudge, but Fudge Palafox swooping around to try to get this last little bit of damage on the Kaze. Yone's Revenge strikes true. It's an ace for Shopify.
You can't cast or curse Fudge, Kobe. That is a definite honor for Fudge. Shopify's going to take game one.
It is 46 kills in 34 minutes, but Shopify Rebellion will claim victory in the first bloody battle of this best of 5.
I mean, that's just fun League of Legends right there. That is action-packed, brawling League of Legends from beginning.
Having a good time last game, and then I think he's in another good matchup. You know, even though Palafox counterpicked him, I would take the Orianna side of the Ryze matchup. So if they can look to exploit that a little bit more and just go from there.
All right, excited to see how Kaze will do on this more traditional style of mid laner with the Orianna, just playing the control mage versus playing the hyper-mobile assassin like the Akali. We saw Kaze get a lot of individual highlights in the previous game, but unfortunately for him was not enough to be able to secure the win. I do expect him to continue to be a big performer. I know that a lot of fans from the South are super hyped on this guy coming up from the academy scene, really making a splash immediately, showing that he is one of the top mid laners in the region. And now up against Palafox, we'll see how his Ori stacks up here. Immediate Bard binding into the wall on Palafox for a snappy electrocute as level 1 Red Canids moving into the enemy jungle.
Yeah, a little more context on Red Canids. I know we touched it on game one, but if you are just joining us now, they do a lot of level 1 invading, but they're also a very young team. FNB, oldest player on the team at 25. He's the veteran, but also considered the best performing top laner in Split 3 of the South. Everyone else, Doom, Kaze, Rebello, all came up from the academy team recently that led to their resurgence. So definitely a team that loves to throw down and has a lot of youth and confidence in themselves.
Yeah, I mean, Red already just has a nice advantage. They got a deep ward in on the top side. They pushed everyone out of the bot side. So Shopify are going to be starting with 0 information, while Red's starting with all the information they can want.
Right, keeping an eye on our junglers here. Remember that in the previous game, junglers did start on opposite sides of the map, both beginning at their red buffs, but it looks like they'll both be starting on this bottom side, pathing towards top here in this one. We'll see if that leads to any level 3, level 4 scrapping up in that top side of the map around this Ambessa Yorick head-to-head, which I think this could end up very spicy with how many kills we got to see in game number 1, with how both these champions can be an absolute terror in the side lane if they get ahead. This one could be volatile.
I really think so. You already said you take the Orianna side of the Ryze matchup, APA. What sides of the other matchups do you feel like would be favored based on the champions?
Well, I'm just looking at Fudge on Ambessa. I feel like Fudge's Ambessa is like similar to his Aurora, is one of his best champions in my opinion recently. So like, I think with how he performed last game, I'm looking massively to how he performs this game in lane, because I think if he gets ahead, then he can just take over this game. And of course, now we're looking at mid lane, how it looks like they're already burning through their potions. It just looks like a fist fight again. And even bot lane's a fist fight too.
Just fist fighting.
It's just a fist fight.
Everybody's brawling. Bvoy and Seos pushed back down here in this bottom side early on. Remember that in the previous game, they were the ones who had priority over the bottom lane, but immediately grand entrance from Seos. Rebello down to 100 HP. Bvoy doesn't have a lot to work with himself, but it's already getting close down here.
And you can just see with bot lane, all the secondary summoner spells are burned. Barrier's gone, the heal's gone, everything is gone bot lane, so it's just like no potions, no anything now. It's just whoever lane's better.
Boots pots start for B-Boy, so he's going to want to have a little bit more sustain. And I also feel like we have Emily, who is standing by with Talkers for an interview.
Hello, I am joined here by Red Coach Talkers. Nice to be interviewing you now as a coach. What do you think went wrong game 1, and how are you guys going to readjust?
I think they punished us a bit on side lanes, and their team fight was sharper than ours. Some team fights we just missed some key ultimates. So it was really down to details, and I think we just need to be focused and we can win.
In terms of side lane pressure, I also agree with that. I see Yorick here, kind of an easy cheat sheet for side waves. Is that kind of what you're hoping from Yorick in this game?
Yeah, here we have Yorick with Bard, and they have Ryze, so let's see who can punish who, right? It's going to be probably really bloody on the side lane, so that's it.
All right, well, game 1 was also really bloody. I wish you all the best, and we'll throw it back to the cast.
Really bloody on the side lane sounds like exactly what I am expecting. expecting as well here from this one, as we do see FNB with control over this top lane 1v1 here nice and early. Does have a slight lead in terms of farm, does have tempo on the wave, making sure that he's shoving Fudge in here, but it is still a while until we're going to see the grub spawn, so not a whole lot of attention up there towards that matchup from anybody else just yet.
Yeah, I also feel like he's sitting on 2 biscuits, has the wave in a spot where he wouldn't get ganked, and has second wind plus Doran Shield, so he's going to be sustaining pretty well unless he goes for a bit of a silly all-in. I think Fudge has the lane in a totally okay spot and can still collect minions under his turret.
See, I'm curious what Kaze is going to do after this, because I assume he's going to base TP, but then they could look to do a Dragon Timer off this because he's already got Palafox's TP out, or he could just greed a little bit. You know, he might be close to a Lost Chapter. I don't know if he has it yet. And then, yeah, I think he actually just has Lost Chapter gold, so to be back, he's going to be very strong coming back in the lane.
I feel like that's just got to be the ideal breakpoint to go for that first teleport to return to lane with, right? When you're playing one of these traditional control mages, the Lost Chapter power spike just feels like it gives you so much staying power.
Yeah, and this is when the lane would just really start to get hard. You know, one shockwave from Orianna just rises like instantly 40% HP. So I'd be really careful about this matchup right now if I'm Palafox.
Yeah, everyone's coming mid because they feel like this is also a breaking point for that lane. Contracts, they're going for it.
Immediately, flash engage coming out from Palafox. His Contracts and Seos are ready to follow it up, but Doom has also arrived and Frosty is on the follow. Palafox is going to die. It's first blood over to Red Canids, and Seos is about to drop 2 if he's not careful about it. Grand entrance back away. A double kill. The win becomes lightning. Doom gets it done. Shopify Rebellion thought they had it figured out, but Red Canids ends up coming out on top.
I mean, they just go so aggressive, but don't have the damage to one-shot, so they burn everything on the initial engage, and then Red just gets to land the counterpunch.
Yeah, I mean, you see like Palafox flash forward, and then Seos goes forward with a W, but Contracts isn't in range yet. Like, he's basically all their damage because they're using all the CC on the Orianna. And he's just not in range. He should have committed flash, and if they're not willing to commit flash, they can't go for that.
Yeah, not to mention they don't have brush control on the left side, so there is a control ward down. Red knows that they're not spotted, and Seos, though, makes another play out of the replay.
Oh, Frosty! He barely stays alive with the last auto attack from Seos, seals his fate. The 2v2 kill there for Shopify to get themselves back on the board, but now in the bottom lane, FNB versus Fudge is also going to stay nice and spicy. Palafox arrives here with a Realm Warp, but again, without a flash, he can't get in range of FNB in time. Now Palafox might be in a little bit of danger. He's fighting the Maiden and the Yorick at the same time, and FNB's just going to walk away. But now again, we've got the Deadly Flourish up here on the top side. Doom gets locked up, Contracts goes in, flashes back over the wall. Rebello putting some firepower back into Seos as Shopify continues disengaging, but now Kaze has joined the fight. He's going to find the shockwave there on the Contracts, and Shopify Rebellion lose another one. Feats of Warfare claimed there for the side of Red.
And Red staying really aggressive. I'm surprised the Contracts was going for that play on the top side when they had already committed their 2 soul laners to a failed play in the bot side, so it's just a matter of time until the numbers are advantage for Red on the top side.
Yeah, I mean, it just looks like a fist fight. You know, game 1 started slow.
This is a bar
this
fight,
game
man.
It's just a bar fight everywhere, no matter what.
I'm glad that we're at least getting to stay with this momentum after the game 1. I would have been sad if we slowed back down to a more expected pace in the second game, as Frosty, nice interrupt there on the recall from Palafox, just spoiling that tempo.
I mean, mid-gap is already like 700 gold because of the 3-3 and then the kill that they got on Contracts. So I'm curious to see how like Kaze can just leverage his advantage right now.
Yeah, plus Palafox used his Rizal bottom lane, didn't really get much except half his health bar burned by the Yorick. So when you're in a situation like this, let's even just say you're on the rise, like how do you try and survive and get back into the game?
You just got to get a little bit of vision control, and then with a little bit of vision, you can hog that part of the lane and just try to wave clear until like a flash comes up or until, you know, someone can gank. Like this Orianna still in a flash, Jarvan's level 6. Something can happen there.
Like you can see the cooldown there for Contracts, his ultimate, about 30 seconds left until he can use that one. We do not have the early Drake take in this game that we saw in game number 1. Remember that Red Canids took that one around 6 minutes uncontested. And the Grubs are now on the map. You can see a lot of players from both sides migrating towards that area. I feel like the next team fight is going to be over these Grubs as we wait for the cooldowns to become fully ready.
I feel like Red's also really strong at the moment. They haven't necessarily completed their items yet, but just the power of the Orianna right now with Shockwave up, they have all their ultimates. Yeah. So Shopify's got to pull something off in this fight. API.
Yeah, and then Bard's about at level 6. You look at all the flashes on Shopify, every flash is down except Fudge, who's not going to be in the fight. So if this Bard hits level 6, drops an ult on one of the mobile carries, it's, you know, they're just dead.
Contracts is ready to start up the grubs himself. At least try to take one of these before Red Canids can respond. But Kaze and Frosty are both still in the area. Frosty walking back towards the mid lane, trying to get the auto attack here on the minion to guarantee the level 6. And there it is. Frosty now with a Tempered Fate available. That big playmaking tool could decide the way this grub fight goes. But Contracts working his way back towards the pit right now. Down in bottom lane, neither one of these guys has their teleports available, but those cooldowns are almost exactly synced up. So if we don't get a grub fight for another minute and a half, they both could try to participate then, but it looks like Doom does not want to wait that long. Red Canids now going to start the objective.
Yeah, and as APA pointed out, Bard is level 6 now, Teseos level 5, so they do have that support power spike, which I think gives them the confidence to start.
Seos, though, hanging out in the mid lane, trying to get the EXP to get his ultimate unlocked. Red Canids going to secure the first grub already. Seos hits level 6 now. Shopify still hanging around the area, but it looks like Shopify is just here to observe what's happening, as we will see all 3 grubs go over to Red.
Red dropped a mid-wave for that, but, you know, they got 3 grubs. You know, I'd consider that worth. You know, one mid-wave, you don't even lose a plate. Like, I'd take that.
Yeah, really nice play there by Red. I feel like they're trying to play a little bit more measured in this game, even if it's still fairly bloody. They've made high percentage plays. I'd say FNB on this Yorick is really getting value with this counter pick onto Fudge's Ambessa, specifically surviving that 1v2 and having the wave push pretty much this entire game. So it's making it hard because Shopify doesn't have winning lanes to play off of.
Especially when you remember game number 1 and how powerful Fudge's Aurora was, how important that was for Shopify hanging on when they were behind initially to catch back up and have good team fights. Now with Fudge down 25 CS, not being able to find victories in these 1v1 side lane situations, things are going to feel a little bit more suffocating.
Yeah, I mean, both side laners from Red are just, like, winning respectively. You know, FMB is smashing Fudge right now, and then Kaze, you saw up earlier, he's just pulling the freeze top lane. So they're pressuring both sides of the map really, really hard. You know, nothing you can really do in the Corki, and they just get a free dragon because of it.
There it is. Nobody from Shopify going to contest this one. Just like game number 1, uncontested Drake. However, this one 5 minutes later, so even if Red Canids do manage to just go straight 4 Drakes into Soul, it will not be a super early Soul potential this game. Fudge now has to try to back away again as FNB just finds the cage on him, takes him down to about 1/4 HP, and Fudge can't say anything about it.
Yeah, he might end up losing a plate off of this as well. Just looking at the map state, there's no one able to come help him. Shopify's in survival mode right now, APA.
I mean, everyone's just losing lane except B-Void, but it's so hard for you to do anything against Corki. You just, you know, like just 50-50 the ways mid lane, and then side lane's just so hard. Like, you've already lost your Ambessa DP. Like, Ryze ended up getting the top wave in, but however much CS he lost there. And so it's real hard for the side laners right now.
Yeah, I mean, what does Red do to advance the game then? Because they're 2,000 gold up and look to be in a good position.
I mean, right now, it's, in my opinion, I don't think they have to, like, advance the game. They're getting all the objectives. They're winning all their lanes. They just have to keep doing what they're doing. They don't have to, like, break the game anyway. If they don't make any mistakes, they're doing quite well.
So then let me pose the counter question. If you're Shopify, particularly, you know, Contracts has his Sundered Sky, he's got ult, he's got flash, he's got everything. Where do you want to see them try to make plays to stop this bleeding and make sure that they can stay competitive with Red Canids as we head towards the mid game?
I mean, it's a hard question because, of course, like, you can just send your flash ult on the Orianna or on, like, you know, in a mobile champion, you know, the Bard, and get their flash. But then it's if you're doing that, you also lose all your, like, minimum pressure that you already have. So it's so scary to use something if it's not, like, a clean hit.
Kaze gonna step up here and find that shockwave onto Palafox as Doom's coming up right behind him. Palafox wants to take the Realm Warp. He even tries to spend the flash to get in range. Yeah. Palafox loses the summoner, loses his life.
I mean, that's gonna be really rough. Like, Palafox lost flash, lost his ulti. He's so, like, just weak right now on the rise. It's gonna be so hard for him to come back into this game.
Man, that is a rough one for the Shopify mid laner. Now 2 minutes until the Herald spawns. Kaze's also going to take the extra plate up there in the top lane off of that turret to go along with the kill that they got. This is nearly a 3,000 gold lead before plates even fall for Red Canids. This is a massive early game.
They're taking high percentage plays. I mean, maybe not this one. FMB's so far ahead in lane, he's decided to take the red buff with the Maiden. This is, we'll see how this works out.
Well, he's got backup coming around to help him.
Looks like it's his.
Yeah, Frosty's making his way over. If Contracts tries to stop this, he might be in some danger. He's going to try to EQ over the wall, and FNB is just waiting. Contracts gets caught out. Doom picks up a rampage. 4-0-1 here with the Xin Zhao.
Where did they think that Yorick went? Is the one question, because I understand why you don't expect him to just be disappearing in your own jungle and killing your red buff, but Fudge had been getting pushed in the whole game. I wonder how FNB snuck in there, whether he faked the recall and it made them think that he was back in base, because that was just a beautiful trap that they set up to get a kill on a contract.
I mean, right now it just looks like Shopify are just getting suffocated. You know, they're losing everywhere. They're losing top, jungle, mid, bot. It's so hard for them to do anything.
Well, Seos is at least trying to set something up here for Fudge to find something back on FNB. FNB with a flash away. Seos decides that means he's got to commit the quickness, but Fudge is losing to the maiden at the same time. FNB, again, in a 1v2, stands tall and beats them back.
We're seeing that FNB Yorick power and why he's so respected as a top laner in the South right now. That's the second 1v2 he's pretty much just walked away from after dueling them.
I mean, yeah, it cost him his flash, but he got a lot back out of it. Now the cage, he'll force the flash out of Seos, and he's still on the chase. FNB is embarrassing Shopify Rebellion.
And this is like the really scary part, because you use your move to attack FNB on the bot lane, and then you just lose all your pressure top lane. Like, look at Palafox. He just has to abandon top lane completely because, you know, they have no clue where the Bard is. They have no clue where Doom is. They can be anywhere.
Seos spent both summoner spells and his ult trying to make that play down there in the bottom lane. Fudge has still only got 20% HP, so yeah, he can clear away a wave that's crashing into the turret, but he can't really do much more than that. His presence on the map is severely limited. Meanwhile, FNB on the Yorick, he's going to pick up the tunneler, he's going to pick up more pieces. Seos tries to jump in there, but there's just no real threat onto Rebello. And now that Rift Herald, it's just been getting soloed by Doom the entire time. This is going to be another neutral objective, the way of Red Canids. They've already got 3 grubs, they've already got the Drake. This is going to be feats of warfare, secured as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's just another free objective for the Red Canids. Like, they've got grubs, they got the first dragon, they got a Rift Herald. You know, I'm curious to see when Shopify like stops getting suffocated and just, you know, tries to take their stand, tries to, you know, do the Hail Mary to win the game.
Yeah, I mean, the little plays they've tried have just fallen away from them time and time again. This is such a great performance by Red. Seos just trying to get a little bit of pathing, but he's probably dead too.
Yeah, Tempered Fate. Ooh, but the timing on the Cosmic Binding isn't exactly what they needed, so Seos can still get away. But man, this is so scary for Shopify. They're down 4,000 gold 16 minutes into the game, and it's about to get even worse as the Herald driven straight into the turret there by Doom. This should provide more than enough damage to guarantee that they can take first turret as well. Gold lead, 4,500 gold. Contracts and Palafox are going to make the move on FNB, but again, the Yorick, he's so damn strong. Fudge comes in here for the public execution. He needs more damage and he can't quite find it. Finally, Fudge gets the shutdown, but he has to use the whole kitchen sink to do it, and it's still just a 1-for-1.
They had to send a third person to FNB this time, and they still get one back. FNB and Red are going to be happy about that one. They'll get the Drake on top of it as well.
You know, the Maiden is so strong, you consider it a 1v2, but then it's just a 2v2. They needed to bring Fudge, the third man in, to make it fair.
They finally get their numbers advantage, but still just the even trade. Right afterwards, Doom knows that there's nothing Shopify can do, so he picks up the Drake as well.
Just another free objective. Like, not really free. Shopify did try to stand for it. They lose Dragon, and then they lose the bot too as well.
I mean, they just continue to try and make plays onto this Yorick, and it continues to not go great for them. At the same time, they did get the TP, so when they're down 4,000 gold, I'd say getting the shutdown and the 1-for-1, I think they're losing the Drake anyway. That's a play that you take again if you're Shopify. Just goes to show, though, how strong the Yorick is.
They got the top lane tier 1, so I believe that should be a bounty. Like that, that's something big back for Shopify.
Exactly. Anything right now matters so much considering how bad the slide has been for Shopify throughout these first almost 18 minutes now. But we do have, gentlemen, the great equalizer spawning here in about 2 minutes. Otacon is going to enter the Rift, and I do want to see how this one plays out because we've had so many crazy Otacon moments throughout this split. Last game, we saw the Palafox dance with it for 2 minutes and then eventually into the fight after Shopify managed to get the team fight that they wanted. But Fudge is trying to put some pressure onto the tier 1 turret here in the bottom lane. But this thing already had so much health still standing because there just wasn't a ton of pressure early on in the game. He can't force it down just yet.
Yeah, and I mean, I really feel like this is going to, as Contract jumps into Frosty.
Yep, and the Deadly Flourish hits Frosty there from B-Voy, but Frosty hadn't taken anything that would cause it to root instead of just do the slow, so he can continue walking back away.
I mean, you can see it's so hard for Shopify to even just be in their jungle. Like, Contract steps out into the ramp bush, and then he's just pushed out. He's pushed back to his Raptor. He's pushed back to his Red. It's so hard for them to just step out right now.
Yeah, Red has to make a big mistake, or Shopify just has to play side lanes like wizards and somehow, you know, pretend, like basically guess where Red's going to be, because they can't even set up vision to split push in an intelligent way. They're going to take some miracles, I feel like, to get back in this one.
All right, Palafox, he's the target yet again. The Shockwave forces the flash. So Orianna ulti down, however, that is a big cooldown for Palafox. And you have to be thinking, yeah, Kaze's going to have the Shockwave ready to go by the time they want to fight for this Otacon that spawns here in 35 seconds or so. It might be a little bit delayed after that, but I would think Red Canids could wait the little bit of extra time they need to have that massive team fighting tool, as Kaze, just using the Shockwave, forcing the flash, opens up the space to take the tier 1 turret.
I'd say a bit of an opportunity, though. I don't think Red needed to commit 5 people to this play when they had the advantage anyway, so Fudge got a wave in that he's not going to end up hitting the turret, but he denied about a full wave of minions, so almost a chance there for Shopify to get a little bit back.
Yeah, I mean, you can still see, like, whenever Frosty and Doom are going right now, they just push everyone of Shopify out of their own jungle. So they go top side, they get vision, they go bot side, they get vision. So it feels like Shopify have no information this entire game. Just look at the vision they have. They have no idea where Doom is right now.
Okay, so we still have the 4,000 gold lead for Red Canids. Spear of Shojin completed as the second full item for both of the top laners, so their itemization spikes are in pretty similar spots. The jungle is dire, though. Both of them with a Sundered Sky and a Mercury Tread, but then a long sword for Contracts versus a full Black Cleaver for Doom. That is a massive power gap.
I mean, look at the gold there on Doom, 8,300 gold. He actually has more gold than the York, who's just been taking on 2 and 3 people the whole game, so they're Bruisers and Orianna are incredibly fed.
I mean, I want to bring up, even though Kaze has been having a relatively quiet game, he still has a massive gold lead. Like, we haven't been focusing on, but he's up 2k gold. He's 2.5 items. Like, this guy comes into an Otacon fight, if there's a team fight with him involved, he's going to do so much damage.
Yeah, that Shockwave hits more than one target, and I feel like the whole fight's just GG from that point, right? Like, how do you even deal with that amount of burst, as it looks like Doom and Rebello are going to go ahead and start this Otacon up. They have a control ward in the pit, so even if Shopify has suspicions, they cannot confirm that this is what Red Canids are doing. It's also the Scuttle Crab going to be picked up here by FNB unless Contracts can steal it away. Scuttle Crab goes down there. It is stolen by Shopify, but the Otacon down to 2,000 HP, and Red Canids cleanly secure the Otacon. The curtain call opens up, but he can't really do anything against mostly full health targets. Doom jumps in after Fudge. Red Canids find a kill. They're going to get the objective plus the dessert.
Nicely done there by Red Canids, ready to peel off. I think Shopify wanted to soft contest this while Palafox split push, but they went a little too far with their soft contest, and the Bard really chased down Fudge well.
Yeah, I mean, it just feels like this entire game is just a suffocation, like a slow suffocation from Red. It's honestly really impressive to watch.
Yeah, this has definitely been a strong performance from Red Canids. It's been a much more controlled game. 10 kills in 22 minutes is much slower than the last one. Contracts wants to go in on Kaze. Nice use of the Cataclysm into the immediate EQ combo back to the rest of the team, but there's just no follow-up. They're just so far behind. A double kill to Rebello, and Shopify Rebellion just look lost.
I totally agree. Who was supposed to do damage there? Because Contracts isn't going to one-shot them with the ultimate. Fudge is dead, and the Palafox TP is 5 seconds after the fight APA.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that's like the only thing you can take off is you got 3 flashes off Red. You got Doom's flash, you got Rebello's flash, you got Frosty's flash. Maybe going into like the next Dragon fight, or like, you know, just the next Baron, or like you can get something going for yourself.
Yeah, Contracts, maybe it was just to burn the flashes, because you can see he decides to take the Bard portal at the last second. It's just B-Boy that's way in the back with only 1 shot left in the tank, so no chance that gets kills. And then the TP comes in very late. Shopify is completely out of sorts.
Yeah, I mean, the Contracts play looked cool up until you realize the consequences of nobody else on the team is around. Like, he dodges the Shockwave, he gets the triple knockup with the flag combo, but then just the reaction, it's not enough. 11-2 now for Red Canids, up 6,500 gold. They also secured their 3rd Drake of the game. That is sole point for the South representatives here. 23 minutes into the game, and it looks like they are starting their victory march. It's time to pick up all this standing gold from the tier 2 turrets. They take down the one in the bottom lane. Seo's going to get caught by the Auric Cage here, but he does continue to disengage. Tempered Fate finds Palafox. Enemy mid laner down, and the Red Canids just keep on going.
Yeah, I mean, you can just see it, like the Bard ult onto the no flash rise, it's so easy. It's near impossible to hit from that range.
Yeah, I mean, they are really playing an impressive game. Contract's trying to get a pick. This is a flashless Corki.
I don't know, man. I don't think Jarvan wants anything to do with this. Rebello just takes him down. And yes, Fudge and Seos are going to swoop in, so they at least make it a 1-for-1. Shockwave doesn't hit a target, but Doom and Frosty are still ready to keep going here. Fudge does get one back onto Doom, but it's still 3 dead on Shopify, only 2 dead on Red.
I mean, that's what Contracts does so well. He's just a ninja in the mid game. Like, even though Red has so much vision, so much information, he's just randomly in the ramp bush. Like, Rebello had no idea he was there. They get 2 bounties.
Yeah, pretty nice bounty. Still 7,000 gold down. I mean, this is kind of what we were talking about yesterday, Flowers, about the South, because I do feel like there was this perception because Split 1 was 8-1 for the North that it was going to be easy. I did not think it was going to be easy, and I was going to predict at least a game for every South team in every single series, because if you also look at the trajectory of this region, Pain Gaming, who was eliminated yesterday, made it to Worlds group stage out of the play-in last year. Furia took G2 to 5 games at MSI. They have had some of their best international performances ever, and I think this performance, just even in this game with how they are kind of suffocating out Shopify and playing a relatively controlled game, I think is a little bit of proof of the progress they've made.
And it's what we were talking about at the top of the day before the series started. Hold on 1 second here. Contracts looking for the play yet again. Kaze could be in some danger. Tempered Fate finds Contracts and Kaze both, but Shopify Rebellion, that's a big pick there on the enemy Orianna. Just as the clock hits 25 minutes, Shopify might decide this is the Hail Mary Baron that they need with the enemy mid laner down for 40 seconds. There will be a teleport available for Kaze to join back up if this takes too long. Red Canids still looking to approach. Seos over the wall. Nice engage as they immediately kill off the enemy support, but now Rebello still does a ton of damage here with a Corki. FNB's made his way into the fight, and Fudge is going to be targeted next here by the Yorick, who buries him alive. Seos on the run, but Doom continues the charge. Palafox the next target as Doom kites it out. Red fights it out. Shopify Rebellion lights out. Triple kill FNB.
And Doom and FNB are just too beefy. They arrive at the very end of the fight and just brawl, fist fight Shopify to death.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great engage coming in from Seos, coming in from Contracts to get the pick, and then onto Frosty. But then, like you said, FNB comes in. This guy's a massive, like, he has so much gold in the York. He just comes in, just shovels everyone.
But from the state that this game was in, Shopify even having this opportunity, I think, was extremely well played. Getting the pull as well is amazing. If Fudge lands that ultimate onto Rebello, maybe they have a chance to win this fight because he is a flashless Corki. When they miss it, though, they still have to spend all this extra time killing the Corki. That gives FNB time to clean up. Like, as soon as that guy's going to enter the fight, it's going to be difficult. It just took too long to try and get that final kill onto Corki.
I like the call from Shopify to try to send it after you get the pick on Orianna. I feel like you're so far behind in this game. You've got to take those small opportunities when you get them. But obviously, Red Canids were prepared. They are 8,000 gold ahead. There is less than 60 seconds until their Dragon Soul spawns, and they've got the Red Bull Baron power play for the next 2.5 minutes. Even with nobody else behind him, FNB is a one-man wrecking crew on these turrets as he keeps this push going.
Yeah, I mean, just look at his items right now. He's 3 core. He pushes everyone by himself 1v1, and like, they just can't do anything. You know, Palafox is kind of desperation push top lane, but they're into the game mid lane.
Yep, this might just be the push all the way. Red Canids want a full send it. Fudge does step up. Nice sidestep with the deadly flourish there from FNB. Throws out the cage, but he will not find B-Boy. Immediate though. Nice counter attack from Red Canids. Kaze gets the kill on Seos. FNB is low, but he is not dead just yet. Contracts goes back in, trying to find the LT here for the Kaze. Nobody on Red is dead. Fudge drops. Double kill for Kaze. Shopify Rebellion fall to pieces. The Dragon Soul is not required. 23-7. Red Canids show that Brazil came to play today. They will make their way on to the Nexus turrets. B-Boy won't have anything to say about it. And Red Canids Kalunga tie this series up.
They have arrived here in Los Angeles. 8-1-12 for Doom. Some insane laning this entire time. Lounge, what's the response?
Kalunga! Red Canids are seeing red.
Giving them one game to build some false sense of security, okay?
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah,
I see. I can believe that.
False hope.
Well, hey, a lot of us did predict.
Poppy is how much value does the Poppy player get out of Steadfast Presence? Seraphine, Ashe, and Talia do not have movement abilities that can be blocked by Steadfast Presence. However, Gnar and Sejuani both have pretty easily readable engages through Arctic Assault and through the hop/crunch that can be denied by that. And since that's the front line, those are those big engage mechanisms that either go in themselves or facilitate Seraphine being able to use her ult. Contracts stopping those in their tracks could be huge. I am expecting a lot more team fighting, a lot more PvP, and a lot more kills here in Game 3.
Yeah, I'm looking for Shopify to bounce back because Game 2 was a big disappointment based on what we'd seen so far this weekend in North versus South. I do feel like early game, though, we are already in, and they have been pushed off once again at level 1. Red having strong level 1 plays in both games 2 and 3.
They really want to keep track of Contract's early pathing. Whenever you see Contracts on this Poppy especially, he does like to go for a lot of early ganks and not necessarily do full clears before looking for his opportunities. I would expect, though, with these lanes, he will do full clear and not look to drop anything early, remain efficient.
One thing to make a note of here very early on, because both of these teams are running ranged supports who want to really battle for that lane priority and supremacy, we are not going to see any of the summoner spellbooks that have been so common with the melee engage style supports. Instead, both opting for the Aerie, for the extra trading power here early on in the lane to try to maintain control.
Yeah, B-Boy also pulling out this Sivir. He's got a good record on it overall, seeing if he can make some big things happen in this game. And to talk more about that, Kangas is standing by with Coach Revan.
Thank you very much. I have Coach Revan here as we're watching already almost a first blood come in here for Red. I want to get your first thoughts on how that level 1 went.
Pretty damn terrible, but it should be all fine. It's not like the end of the world. I just hope the players don't feel like desperate or you need to do something fast, because I think both teams just stylistically have that a little bit. So just taking care of that, I think, is probably going to be the win con for both teams.
You mentioned the style of Red Canids. You used to coach for a Brazilian team before you came to North America. So based on your experience with Brazilian players, how do you feel Red are performing to your expectations?
Pretty good, honestly. As far as I know, I think they're mid-jungle and AD are really new. Top's their biggest veteran. Support is kind of, I think he's on year 2 or 3. But they had their, like, a roster change in between split 2 and 3, and then they still somehow made it to cross-conference finals. So really big ups to them, honestly.
All right, well, it looks like the players are ready for action already on the rip. So we're going to let you get backstage, throw it back to the casters.
Continue fighting! We got 3 camp ganks as well for both mid laners blowing their flashes here. Both junglers doing the 3 camp gank, passing through mid lane with their red buffs. And both of them are pretty low on mana too, so.
How did Revan sound so calm during all of that? B-Boy gets pushed back to base on 0 CS, and then mid lane becomes an absolute 2v2 brawl, but no kills yet.
Yeah, they went for that trade when it was like both of Red members just positioned right next to B-Boy, and he was just like tanking all of the damage and forced to blow both summoners. In addition to being forced back, not having flash or cleanse on the Sivir here is really a big deal, especially because you know, the wave of course is going to push back out afterwards. But since they saw Sejuani with red buff gank mid, they know Sejuani did a 3 camp, her bottom side 3 camps, then ganked mid and crossed. So they knew, okay, well, at least the Sejuani's not coming down here within the next minute.
Push.
We, you know, we've got our time. Push it in, bounce it back, and you know, hopefully they can stay safe. They're double warding here for the river and the tri-bush to make sure that they can remain safe. Contracts though does get interrupted after his clear on this.
And the one thing I do want to mention about the 2v2 that we saw in mid, Contract's the only one of those 4 that still has, topside Fudge in some danger. FNB needs a little more damage, but just can't get that last auto attack that would have procced the hyper there for the first blood. Contract still has his flash. That's what I was trying to say, but we're going to get more PvP, so I have to say it fast.
Yeah, and FNB is having another amazing game. Is Gnar. He's pushing in this Aatrox, blows Fudge's flash by himself here. Bottom side.
B-Boy trying to fire back at Rebello here. Nice root coming in from Seos, but Rebello still safe enough. He and Frosty running a little bit low on HP. Nice mantra Q coming in from Seos to continue chipping away at that healing and shielding.
Yeah, both holding flashes. Really want to be able to push this wave in as Sejuani is arriving. Might be looking for a play if Shopify try and freeze this wave on them.
Okay, Doom's gonna start his Krug camp, but now go for the gank instead. Will walk over a ward. Shopify should be aware of what's going on here. Boomerang Blade flies out, doesn't find a single target to connect on, and they know that Doom is going to be pathing up through this tri-brush. So Shopify Rebellion, step back.
Yeah, good job by them not stepping back too early. Doom, though, is going to circle around and queue out the back of the Dragon Pit, so Contracts is still going to come on down and check around and sniff.
These guys are just trading so aggressively.
Teos, the minions are still on him, too.
He's got 40 health. He's running pretty low there. The heal is mandatory to keep him alive. Contracts wanted to try to flash for the wall slam there on Frosty. Not quite enough distance to make it work, so Frosty stays alive. Contracts loses his flash and about half of his health. Still no first blood for either team somehow.
But they want to have it happen. I think both teams
really bad.
You know, whether it's them or the other guy, I feel like they don't care. They're just fist fighting. I gotta call out FNB though. How good has this guy been? The York game was insane. The confidence to first pick Gnar and then immediately burn the flash from Fudge. Having that top lane push pretty much the entire early game. Really impressed with him so far.
Doom sliding in here, looking for the gank on Palafox. Will not have enough time to stack up the E for the stun. And still only at the beginning of level 5, so no Glacial Prison available for that one either. But yeah, going back to the topic of FNB, especially considering game number 1, Fudge got the better of him in the Aurora versus Rumble matchup. And we talked about how at the beginning of the day, the feeling for a lot of the Brazilian teams and players is they're so confidence-based. When they're feeling it, they're feeling good, and they'll play so much better. So for FNB to have a bad game 1 and then bounce back so powerfully, impressive stuff.
Yeah, I think both the solo laners have got to be feeling really good because Kaze, again, pushes in another wave. They lose more minions mid for Shopify, but they're going for another attack. No flash on Frosty.
Yeah, Frosty might just get rooted up here by the Karma. B-Boy and Seos continuing to push forward. Contracts coming in behind them, but not enough damage to kill off the Seraphine through, again, all that powerful shielding and healing, plus the extra damage at the very end through the Focus Fire, and the High Note means that Seos also takes a considerable chunk of damage himself.
Yeah, there's still this big wave pushing into them, so Shopify want to go back and collect it. They don't want to over chase too much on through the dry brush. And everybody really seems on edge in this game.
Yeah. I am also on edge. The players feel that way as well. I'd say a good recovery by B-Boy and Seos after what happened at level 1, having to go back to base before getting a single minion. And again, these junglers seem like they're just always ready to pounce.
So, I mean, Sejuani with level 6 for sure should be looking to punish again, but it has been enough time since the first gank for the flashes to come back for mid lane. So, even though Doom is hovering around mid lane, there is a ward on him, plus there's a lot of mobility in the Azir. They now make the swap call, so Sivir can just wave clear in mid lane while they send Palafox bottom, and with these grubs at least started up by Doom.
Yeah, but Fudge and Seos are both wrapping around to try to punish the Red Canids jungler here. He can just Arctic Assault to get away from the tether.
Okay, but another wave is going to get pushed in on top side because FNB still has top lane priority, so that wave has to be answered by Fudge. So Fudge isn't here now. That was a necessary flash because during that numbers disadvantage and Ash Arrow hitting,
Nice potential play here from Palafox. He gets the shuffle on Kaze, but not enough damage to follow it up and really threaten anything lethal. Shopify Rebellion still trying to jockey for position over these grubs as Doom and FNB have to evacuate the area. Contract still on the approach here, but it's already 2 grubs for Red Canids, so Shopify Rebellion are only going to get a consolation grub.
Yeah, I think mission successful again by Red. They've been able to take the majority of the grubs in every single game, and again, their solo laners are just flat out performing. That was a nice play by Palafox to win a trade, but FNB's had constant prio in this top lane. They're really just showing us their mechanics in the early game of all 3 of these games.
Bella will get this pushed out here mid lane with that Ashe. Frosty staying next to him with the Seraphine just to make sure that he can keep pushing this up at no vulnerability to a potential play from Shopify. TP coming in now to this bottom lane just puts Kaze right back in the 1v1 against Palafox where he was. Palafox still having his own teleport ready to use, and you can see top laner teleport timers also desynced right now. Fudge has his available if they want to try to make some kind of a play with it. The first Drake of the game is still up. FNB still has a bit of the timer left on his own cooldown, so he would not be able to follow.
Yeah, but he earns a turret plate himself as well. He's continuing to get paid. Will be another rich top laner here. This time around on Gnar, not quite. Wait a second, are we gonna get any fight over this crab? Contracts is there.
We might just get a fight. Instead, we get a slam into the wall from Contracts. Potential follow-up tether, but no, Arctic Assault denies the lockup, the root on that one. And I just want to mention, last game, Fudge first picks the Ambessa. The Yorick is the counter pick, so I can at least give the Cope take of, yeah, it was a counter pick, that's why it went so bad. This time around, FNB first pick on the Gnar, as Palafox gets caught out by Kaze. Nice use of the seismic shove there, forcing out the flash from the Shopify mid laner. And Red Canids solo laners keep the pressure on.
Shopify had just called to do Dragon too. You see they brought Fudge all the way down. Fudge had been walking and Contracts was taking the tower, but now with no flash on the Azir and the Azir being chunked to 50%, they say, never mind, we got to call it off. Keep in mind what Revan said. He wanted them to remain calm in the early games and look for some scaling options for themselves, but they call off their Dragon play, and Palafox gets...
Oh, Palafox with the lazy recall, and Kaze is ready to show him that sloth is a deadly sin. Palafox wants to get away from it, but Kaze picks up an easy first blood.
At least he calmly took the cannon after getting calmly caught by his lazy recall. So I'm not sure. Like, this is really stressful at the moment with how Red has just been crushing the solo laners so far. They lost so much tempo in this last play, but maybe they can get this Constellation Drake.
So Palafox, though, does have teleport. So that's why Red are backing off now. Even though they kill Palafox under turret there, they know that he can return with teleport, whereas Kaze does have to go recall. And so in the end, Shopify do get the Dragon as a consolation prize for themselves. And if you're looking at trying to slow down, if you're looking at trying to scale your Sivir and your Azir, having a Dragon does go a long way in doing that, kind of buying you the timer, allowing you to choose which future Dragon fights you actually have to take or not.
But Kobe, how much of a timer do you get when both of your solo laners are again just getting slammed? For Shopify, they're down 20, 25 CS up there in the top lane. They're down almost 20 CS in the mid lane. It's a few hundred gold for both of the Red Canids solo laners up over their Shopify counterparts. Again.
Yeah, they have really been dominating. FNB going to catch this big wave in the bottom side as well. Experience advantages across the board. And we did call out in game one. I want to kind of call it out again. In their respective conferences, Kaze was crushing early game laning phase. First in the league, gold difference at 14, plus 448. Palafox, 7th amongst the mid laners here in the north. And we're seeing that play out in almost all of these games. Kaze is getting a significant lead onto Palafox in all of these early games.
Meanwhile, the farming in mid lane here. Yuntal's for B-Voy completed pretty early, so he's going to try and stack that up while farming safely in mid lane. But attack on side here with Sejuani once again coming down. For now, just be the Gromp. And they're going to allow him some peace and calm to farm under tower while they take away the Gromp for the moment. But Contracts coming down here, that means that the Poppy's going to be here. Know that the Gromp is stolen. There is no Wolf camp, no Gromp camp for him here. So this is not very valuable time.
It was a perfect 0 gold difference between the junglers there for just a second before that ward got killed. It's always interesting to see how that works out to just happen to be the exact same amount of gold. But we do have the Rift Herald spawning here in about 90 seconds. I do expect this to be a fight. I can hardly believe there's only 1 kill on the board 13.5 minutes into this game with how many attempts have been made by both sides.
But Red is just slowly winning through the laning phase. They don't have extremely strong initiation. They have a high, like a long range comp. They have double ranged bottom lane. They're slowly winning top mid. I'd say the bot lane has been able to push. So aside from not getting the first objective, that would be the big hiccup in this plan, is because you want to really stack Drakes with a team comp like this and force the other team to come into you. But I think their game plan can't be to force a bunch of fights with this team comp. And even the Sivir into the Ashe right there, they just block the Ashe arrow.
Yeah, nice block on the arrow, but now Seos takes some damage back. B-Boy continuing to trade with Rebello and Frosty. Shopify were winning the 2v2 trade back and forth there, but with Doom showing up, it means the fight has to end.
Yeah, Red have a lot of very good kind of safe attempts at engage with Ashe Arrow and Sejuani Ultimate. And then if one of them hits, then they can follow up with the rest of the kit, you know, with the Seraphine ultimate as well as the Gnar jumping in, but they can fish. They can kind of afford to fish around at objectives. Here we go, bottom side.
Yeah, Fudge going in for the World Ender here after Kaze, who just immediately uses Weaver's Wall to create enough distance to get away from the attempt from the Shopify top laner. Fudge is still looking for a little bit more. Not going to land the Infernal Chains. Wants to flash for the Q2, but he misses the sweet spot. Won't matter. Q3 gets it done with Contracts swooping in to help. Shopify Rebellion are on the board.
Yeah, Contracts can guarantee that it'll hit the sweet spot of the last one there. Does get the knock into the wall. That means that they see him bottom and start up the Rift Herald immediately, though.
Yep, another potential objective here for Red Canids, Kalunga, and for Doom. Remember that they've already got 2 out of 3 grubs, so getting this next neutral will bring them that much closer to feats of strength.
Rift Herald takes a very long time to take, though, so Contracts definitely has time to walk all the way over and still has his Poppy ultimate.
I think they're just going to give this in soft contested. Fudge was hoping to get the turret there, but the teleport's actually going to push him off as well. So a fairly free Rift Herald take there by Red. They're playing pretty calm.
It's also so dangerous for Shopify to try to go any closer than that because you don't have the Sivir ulti available any longer either because of the trade 2v2 in mid lane, using that as one of the resources. FNB jumping back as Palafox surges towards him. FNB does not want to be caught out by one of those Emperor's Divides, as now Kaze is back in position down here in the bottom lane, keeping the pressure on, wants to secure this first turret, and it's getting very low.
Nice couple of jukes there are necessary from Fudge because, again, he used his flash offensively to go for that last kill onto Kaze. So Kaze is going to win out in the pressure in that one-on-one in bottom side. Fudge does have teleport options here. Looks like Kaze is going to get another cannon wave in, though, and
probably
just
finish
it himself.
Yeah, this should be very easy for him to do. Got the 2 grubs already to guarantee the extra true damage over time. Now FNB going to get shuffled back. Contracts, Palafox, and Seos trying to make the play, but it's a Mega Gnar. They just don't have anywhere near enough damage to complete this kill.
Yeah, probably just trying to chunk him out or get his flash so they can make a repeat play later or pressure this turret. They're still going to try and just step right back up, but with Frosty here, I doubt they'll be able to get much more.
Yeah, Seraphine makes these types of situations so obnoxious, just constantly healing and shielding whoever is the main defender underneath the turret. Palafox, Contracts, and Seos all still hanging around the area, but that was Palafox and Contracts' ults to not get anything super meaningful against FNB, and Red Canids at the same time are now going to secure themselves their first Drake of the game as this Infernal spawns and Doom and Kaze are immediately ready to take it.
Yeah, we'll see how much damage they actually do on that top tower because they did, as you say, invest a lot in damaging FNB, and they aren't going to be able to finish it.
Nope.
Well, there he is. He's already back in time. Palafox will continue trying to get those auto attacks for a little bit more here. Might just be able to get it, and there it does go. Shopify Rebellion will at least get the turret for their troubles.
And you saw the combo as well. We got to see the interaction with Poppy and Azir putting up the ultimate, getting the charge into the wall, ultimate as well. Of course, didn't even get really close to lethal damage, but
Mega Gnar is pretty tough.
Yeah, they gave him a chunk, and they take their tower. So again, they're looking to keep that gold fairly close, looking for the 2 items at least on both Sivir and Azir.
They're really fishing for a play here in mid lane.
B-Boy popping the on the hunt to try to get away from this one. Fires a couple auto attacks back. The threat of Doom with this Glacial Prison, man, always so scary, but B-Boy is comfortable and calm.
Yeah, that threat, though, gets a whole Sivir ultimate out of them for free.
And now the arrow collides, but it's on to Seos. There's no way to spell shield that one. Nice pick coming out from Red Canids. Rebello locks it in with the aim.
The double Freljord engage, even though you spell shield the Sejuani ult. Ash one does hit. Contracts, ooh, dangerous on the outside.
Yep, but at least this will buy Shopify's top laner time to take the tier 1 turret in the bottom lane. Fudge getting that one as Palafox shuffles Doom back away. Here comes the Weaver's Wall. Palafox makes his way to the other side of it, and B-Boy has to flash to do the same. Herald summoned up, but not getting a ton of value here in this tier 1, as that one will get shot down. And Red Canids now looking at the enemy jungle.
Oh man, this game is so stressful. Red really putting a lot of pressure on Shopify to respond here. Herald mid, going for picks on a Palafox. Shopify just seemingly surviving and keeping this gold very close, but so much of the pressure is being applied by Red.
Yeah, good use, again, of the non-committal engage that they have. They went through just with their threat. They get out the Sivir ultimate, so that speed for dodging won't be there. Then they use the Sejuani and the Ash Arrow. Contracts, though, finds a Sejuani protecting her own jungle and has to get out of there.
All right, he's out. Otacon's coming up in 40 seconds. So I just need a second to preemptively cope.
Okay.
This has just been on
What
my
are we
mind.
coping?
The Shopify pisses me off.
Okay.
Because the whole
That's cope? Wait, what?
let me finish.
Let him cook. Let him
You're eating into my 40 seconds. So the whole year they have started splits so bad and then clutched up at the end. But
Okay.
if I look, there's a fight. We're out of time.
Yeah, we might not have time. I'm sorry. There was not enough timer on the cope as Palafox flashes away from the Glacial Prison. Nice seismic shove there onto Contract's. Going to take a chunk of his HP, but again, Red Canids nowhere close to a lethal situation. They will force Shopify back.
All right, 2 seconds. Until Otacon, they have only won 41% of their games the entire year, yet they are the 3rd best team because of their ability to clutch up. But my fear is that they just won't be able to clutch up when it matters in this North versus South game. So that's my preemptive cope. But with that being said, they have actually clutched up to get into this position. Split 2, they had a really bad positioning phase, but they clutched up in the later group stage. They beat 100 Thieves, they made a run. They ended up in finals weekend, and then they're also in finals weekend for split 3. So they need to clutch up here so they can not get reverse swept essentially by red.
So what it sounds like is that you want to cope, but you're not going to do it because you don't think that they will clutch up in the right time?
Based on the way this game is going, red looks so good, and it feels like Shopify hasn't been able to win their solo lanes, so they'll need to like clutch up and out-team fight red, which isn't a situation you love being in as a region, the North, that comes in as a big favorite.
Let's put it to the test, Flowers.
Yep, we're going to have to do it. We'll see if Shopify can channel that 100 Thieves team fighting when you're 2,000 gold behind Magic. Because honestly, that's what they're going to have to do here. Red Canids, they do still have a lead, a small lead in Flower Petals. They've got the 1,500 gold lead as well. We still have not secured the feats of Warfare, but they weren't even required because the feat of Turret and the feat of Objectives both went to Red Canids. There's only 3 kills in 21 minutes.
All 3 games, the feats have gone over to red because they have just straight up won these early games. Game 1, definitely a bloodbath. Shopify won the split push. Game 2, total stomp. This is definitely our closest game of the bunch.
And I think your tension is warranted because there are so many tools within the red team composition that they have to pick people off. So you're kind of like just waiting until they do get their pick on someone with either an Ash Arrow, with a Sejuani Ultimate, with a Talia Seismic Shove. Anything can, find one person, and then they follow it up with the Seraphine. And so it does require some good positioning from Shopify to actually be able to approach the objectives without somebody getting picked off.
And we got some big second items coming online. Steric's Gauge just completed for FNB as Palafox is going to get caught out, but a nice defensive shuffle keeps him alive a little bit longer. Frosty needs some more damage, but the Encore will not lock Palafox up. Doom and everybody else turning their eyes onto Contracts now as Palafox is somehow still alive, but the Red Canids are dogpiling into the jungle. Fudge finally makes his way in with a World Ender as B-Boy needs the auto attacks. Fudge is locked up and he can't drain tank, and a double kill for the Talia. Kaze again with the performances here. Red Canids, they get a 3-for-1.
Kaze is so good. The flash over the wall. He avoids the Aatrox to survive and ensure that they can take the Otacon after the fight. That's the pick that they were waiting for.
And they had so much pressure, so as soon as they can see Palafox hitting this ward, Doom uses that as an opportunity to let the ultimate fly. And they also have to have so much time before the Aatrox can teleport in. With the Ashe Seraphine, they just walk forward as best they can. Really interesting moment here where it looked like Fudge might be able to take it back, but they land the Sejuani CC, they flip him around, and Kaze cleans up.
Nice escape from him. He flashes over to escape and hits his seismic shove as he's going away there. So Red, with the Otacon on top of the early lead, have Demonte mega stressed.
Those aren't the Demonte vibes I want to see.
No.
He's the vibes king, and he looks stressed out of his mind with the way this game is going.
The handles on that chair are suffering right now. He has a death grip on that thing. As Shopify Rebellion now find themselves 3,000 gold behind. Red Canids firmly in control of this third game as they try to take control over the bottom side river right now. The next Drake has already spawned, and this is the strength that we were talking about earlier for this long-range composition. If Red can get to the objectives first, they can make Shopify face check them. Contracts getting caught out, dies before the fight can even go anywhere. The Keeper's verdict will not save him in time, and with the enemy jungler down, that dragon is free.
Again, the pick with this team is just so good. Ash Arrow into guaranteed seismic shove follow-up, and instant another objective, another kill for Red.
Game 2 into Game 3, they have just looked very clean from that, what was it, 46 kill, 30-minute Game 1 that was just absolute chaos. They definitely managed to calm their nerves and play with confidence. They've been taking these solo lane advantages, and now they're just controlling the map very well. They're taking smart fights, and I'd say just their team fight positioning has been strong as well, because the front line is in the front. They're all piling in behind the Seraphine. We were wondering what kind of confidence they'd have playing with the Dash Seraphine, since Frosty hadn't piloted the Seraphine prior to this game that I had seen, and they're doing great.
Uh-oh, Palafox, nice timing there on the Emperor's Divide to knock FNB backwards as he tried to hop forward, but Palafox is not out of the woods just yet. Kaze coming around through the jungle here with the Weaver's Wall, cuts off the escape route for the Shopify mid laner. He doesn't even need setup. That seismic shove finds the mark, and Kaze brings the Canids up to a 4,000 gold lead.
I mean, Red just have the advantage in the standoff with the long-range engage they have, and they also are using their advantages in the side lanes. Okay, Seos does live this one for now.
Yep, the Mikhails was clutch there, but it's not enough to save the tier 1 turret here for Shopify. They're outnumbered, they're outgunned. As soon as 4 players from Red Canids show up, Shopify has to back away and surrender the turret.
Shopify are just getting demolished, Flowers. Back-to-back games now. Red are destroying them. 25 minutes in here, almost 26, and their lead is substantial. Baron is now on the map, so they have plenty of tools to, again, force you to kind of come check around for vision around Baron, and then look for engages, look for turn with their substantial engage. And here again, the pickoff on the side, also really clean from Kaze once again.
Yeah, also notice that Kaze was, or FNB was 2 levels ahead of Palafox before that game happened. This is going to be a very satisfying game for the South to be watching right now, with Revolta reacting to that one. And they're just going to keep... Ooh. There's no Mikhails.
It's another beautiful catch coming out from Red Canids. The Glacial Prison finding the target on Deseos. He had the Mikhails to save himself with last time, but that cooldown's pretty long. And as long as that thing's not available, it is so easy for Sejuani to lock up those targets. And now with the enemy support down, Red Canids will start up the Baron. They still have the Ash Arrow. They still have the Encore. They still have Kaze ready and waiting. They continue pushing forward. The arrow doesn't find a target, but it doesn't even need to. Now with the enemy jungler killed, Red Canids know it's Baron o'clock.
It's just the Ash Seraphine Sejuani mob just running around, killing whoever they want, making this look easy. Contract's dead, Palafox dips. This Baron is going over to Red.
Surely is. The only consolation prize is a minion wave on the bottom side of the map. Kaze will head on down there. He will be able to collect the push that Palafox is getting going here. And Red, with a Baron buff, again, the siege is so easy for them. They can just group up, push down side lane once again. If you step out, you're going to get hit with a Sejuani or an Ash Arrow. You're going to get followed up with a Seismic Shove or a Seraphine Ultimate. Someone is going to get picked and die, or they're just going to lay siege with the Baron buff, slowly but surely take down the towers.
We had a game 1 that was back and forth with less than a 1,000 gold lead either way for about 20 minutes with a bajillion kills. And now we've had a stomp of a game 2 into a stomp of a game 3. Red Canids are playing better so far on the day. And I think if you're a fan of Brazilian League of Legends, that is so exciting to see.
Yeah, especially because 3 of the members just promoted from their tier 2 team with Doom, Kaze, and Rebello. It's really nice to see such quick success for them.
Taking the momentum through. The predictions from the Brazilian casters, some of them saying 3-0 for Red. Not too shocking unless, nice pick there by Contracts.
Yup, the flash over the wall for the slam there to pick off Frosty as he was trying to get some vision, but that is only the support. Shopify know there is still quite a long way to climb to get back into this one.
They have to create chaos. That is the only way you come back in games like this. You got to just create some chaos, get people spread out so that Red can't play their game. Because if you allow them to group up and just move towards the towers, move towards their objectives, then they're going to have the front line positioned well, and they're going to send out their engage. So Contracts goes for the snap play, trying to get at least something back for the team.
Man, 7,000 gold. 29 minutes into the game, massive lead in terms of the flower petals as well for the side of the Red Canids. It feels like it's we're at the point of the game where Red Canids do have to make some pretty critical blunders for Shopify to have a chance to come back into this and keep fighting, because you've got a 1,000 gold lead in the jungle, a 1,000 gold lead at support, 3,000 gold in mid lane, and it's about to be even more. Palafox nearly getting caught out here. Flash out from him to avoid the follow-up flash engage potential from Doom there with the Glacial Prison. So Palafox stays alive, but again, they force the enemy mid back. They're putting the pressure onto the Drake.
Yeah, I think you should just make this call. Yeah, definitely correct for Shopify. They just go for...
Ooh, that's a long-range stun onto Fudge, followed up by Kaze. There with a seismic shoved into the unraveled earth. Fudge wants to try to turn it around, but the problem is, here's FNB, and Fudge isn't going to survive that one. It's the Drake over to Red Canids. It's an extra kill over to Red Canids.
Yeah, I mean, Shopify try and make the call. Okay, yeah, we're not going to fight you. Yes, you're stronger than us. And so they try and make the call, just split push, take the outer tower, but the Ash Arrow from downtown actually hits. They get the kill for Red on the split pusher, and now they're pushing it into your jungle.
Yeah, Contracts has to be so careful here, man. This Poppy, this supposed frontliner for the side of Shopify Rebellion, has not been tanky enough to survive any of these big engages from the Red Canids Kalunga side, as now Kaze is going to lead the charge towards the tier 2 up here for the top lane. It's already an 8,000 gold lead for the South representatives, and it's about to get even worse for Shopify Rebellion. 8.6k at 31 minutes.
Yeah, the tail end of that Baron buff, very profitable for Red. The Baron recalls, I think, surprised Fudge with how fast the Soul Laners were able to get there, but it's really just Red continually playing a very controlled game, only having 3 deaths this entire time, with Contracts trying to run around and catch people, with Contracts having that 100% kill participation. But I'd also say, like, just the very end of this draft, the way that Red threw in the Ashe Seraphine for the Sivir pick, that kind of forced Seos to feel like he had Karma, I think takes away that snap engage that Shopify would need to force fights and create chaos, because they just don't have enough engage. And since Red was able to win both solo lanes, they've just very cleanly played out the rest of this game so far.
B-Boy now the target, tries to get away from it, but Red Canids are going full send. Kaze slammed back into the wall, though. This might be an overextension. He stays alive for a second longer, but he is shut down by Fudge. Shopify get a big kill on the enemy mid laner. Seos is very low. Palafox at half HP, so there's nothing more they can take.
The scramble in the fight there is good for Shopify. Kaze down and he flashed. Is there a wraparound? Contracts?
Yeah, Contracts wants the Hex flash over the wall. He arrives, but there's nothing for him to find. Instead, the firepower from Red Canids. Contracts makes a fatal error, and Doom is happy to show him just that. 1-for-1 trade overall, as Red Canids will also take the tier 2 turret in the mid lane.
You can see Contracts just trying to make miracles happen, but it was not to be. Red, even though they were in a 4v5, still have so much strength as long as they're grouping up around this Moonstone Seraphine with the tank Sejuani and Bruiser Gnar.
Yeah, I mean, that was a Mega Gnar and a Sejuani, both at full health with a Seraphine behind them, buffing them up with the extra shield.
It's an interesting angle.
Nobody's getting bursted right there. I mean, the rest of Shopify, it's like they have an extra piece they need to be added to this team. If they're going to be able to make the big comeback here, they have to like all strike at once.
I feel like the only win con here for Shopify with the current state of the game is 45-minute Sivir win condition, right? B-Boy is still 2-0-1 on the Sivir. He's got himself 3.5 fully completed items. Fudge has to run away from FNB down here in this bottom lane head-to-head. It's just not working out for him.
They do have to like juke a lot of abilities. Like, yeah. So if you have your Sivir speed ultimate and they're able to use the speed to make a lot of spells miss, you know, Ashe Arrows and Sejuani ultimates. Okay, that one was spell shielded.
Yeah.
Yep. Nice reaction there from B-Boy, making sure he doesn't get caught out by that, because as soon as you get caught by one, the rest of the follow-up with the Encore, with the Glacial Prison, with everything else is just so nasty. And you can see Red are happy to just keep setting down vision in this enemy jungle, keep looking for these picks.
And as long as we're talking about it, like, what is the dream fight? Because it's probably some type of Azir shuffle into something insane.
Well, it's not this. Contracts face check at the barrage, nearly killed immediately, and Rebello takes him out with a focus fire. Palafox killed again with a nice seismic shove. Seos still fall too. It's 4 dead on Shopify Rebellion. Only Fudge still alive, and Red Canids are marching down the mid lane.
I'll tell you what the dream fight for Red is. It's when they face check you and you chase them down. 4 kills for Red and probably the whole base.
This looks like the end of the game. Fudge would have to pull off a miracle in a 1v5 as an Aatrox against a full health enemy team. The mid lane inhibitor drops. There's still more than 20 seconds left on everybody on Shopify Rebellion. The Ash Arrow hits. Add insult to injury as Red Canids show Shopify what some team fighting, what some picks look like. 16-4 in game 3. Red Canids go on to match point.
And if we're talking about a team that plays better when they have confidence, they're going to be full of it after the last 2 games, Flowers.
Shopify Rebellion had better get themselves in order, and they had better do it quickly, because Brazil's #2 team.
Not the Ezreal, and you know, we're like, how are they going to get through the Skarner and the Cho'Gath? I mean, the Ezreal can stay safe from them, but doesn't kill them exceptionally fast.
No, and I was stressed partway through game 3. So I'm ahead of you here, and I feel like Red has been very good and versatile at drafting. I love their drafts in game 2 and 3. I love the way they opened up this draft, but I was really hoping that either the Zyra hover did get locked in. I was hoping that maybe they'd have a bit more of a hyper carry instead of B-Boy's Ezreal. I think the Ziggs might salvage it. Cassio could also salvage it. So as the desk was saying, the lounge was saying, Shopify just has to play better early game, which is another reason why I'm stressed, because they've lost all 3 early games this series.
So I do want to point out that Vi is a more versatile champion than a lot of people give credit for, as we get some nice grass procs on the top side of the map. But Vi definitely can, go a long way, actually, if you just queue into the front line and proc your denting blows and try and, shred some armor that way, especially if you also buy a Black Cleaver. You can also, add that on top, and it will, soften them up a bit. And then you go for your ultimates at precise moments when your Ziggs is ready to ult over the top. So there is a bit of element of assassination with this comp. When you Vi ult plus a Ziggs and Ezreal ultimate over the top, that can assassinate a Zeri. Remember back to when Zeri basically took over League of Legends.
The pentakill Pikachu.
When she was released. The biggest answer that people came up with, even when she was at her most OP, is with Vi and damage that will assassinate her following up on the Vi ultimate. And so you have to be quick with timing it, though, because Ziggs and Ezreal ultimates do have delays, and so you have to instantly, follow up, but that can be a way that Shopify can find success in this game. They can also, try and just delete the Victor as well, but usually Victor, I expect Victor at least to build fairly tanky this game and have some decent base HP.
Yeah, I agree that has to be the game plan, and it does fit with the way their champions go. We were expecting maybe the Lulu to go with the Zeri, but I do feel like Red was needing some playmaking. It was potentially too passive, even if it's this idealistic 5v5 team fighting comp, if they had a Lulu to go with the Zeri. So as much as we're talking about the team fight theory, step 1 is lane. Because
and Shopify have failed the last couple games in lane phase.
They absolutely have. I don't think that Fudge is in a winning matchup. I completely agree with Azale. It's something that has been picked fairly often when you have a Cho'Gath player, so it's a great matchup in the top lane. And it's also Ezreal, Alistair. None of these matchups speak to Shopify being able to win, so they just need to outplay.
And my eyes, in particular, are on Palafox in the mid lane. APA was talking about how Ziggs into Victor, you should be able to go even in this matchup. If you're really locked in, you can get a little bit of a lead, but just making sure that he's staying relevant with the overall pace of the game, because since you don't have a hyper carry marksman in the Ezreal, because you're going to need so much damage from mid lane, I think the pressure is really on Palafox to make sure he can provide that firepower.
All right, talk about lane phase, though.
B-boy.
They got a lot of damage onto Rebello. That Zeri is very low and running double movement summoner spells, so Rebello had to back off for a little bit, but comes back in for that cannon.
Ooh, nicely done there. Jumping in from Contracts, trying to just be aggressive towards Doom, recognizing that his bottom lane has the advantage down there so that he can play aggressively into the enemy jungler. And now B-Boy and Seos also going to find a nice chunk onto Frosty. Shopify Rebellion, total control over the bottom side river early.
Yeah, and because they pushed him completely out, not to mention Rebello never recalled, they're just going to continue to put pressure on him. Either he goes back to base and misses the wave, or they kill him. Okay, he got back.
All right, he's out of danger.
Pike.
Yeah, we got Frosty with a pull into the turret. Contracts. Pretty big error here. Might just get punished all the way. Frosty would have needed one more auto attack to seal the deal, and Contracts barely escapes.
Lulu can't do that.
Kobe, are you okay?
Perhaps. Kobe?
Yeah, what's up?
You all right, brother?
Oh man, that was close. All right, no first blood though.
Palafox!
Oh, Palafox nearly getting a kill into Kaze there. Takes him down to about 70 HP. 0 mana left on that Victor. The teleport will be forced back here now as Palafox wants to try to shove out the rest of the wave before he takes his own recall.
Okay, yeah, gonna finish up pushing Victor, honestly, with his teleport back. Yeah, he is going for that beefier build we kind of expected. Rod of Ages, probably, and double Ruby Crystal start for him feels very nice to get that base HP layered on for a bit of extra safety. And nobody blew flashes in mid lane, so they both still have some evasive maneuvers. Contracts, though, when you don't have your flash on Vi early, then you kind of do have to wait for your level 6 for gank. Usually pre-6, you're also threatening because you can Q flash on people, but yeah, he's not going to have that weapon anymore because Frosty was able to get a nice pull on him under tower, Fudge under tower as well. Just FMB getting one more grass proc.
Yep, FMB scaring Fudge back. There's no mana left on the Scion to try to retaliate against the Cho'Gath. Of course, FMB without his ulti doesn't have kill threat onto Fudge either, so Fudge can make sure that he gets all the way back, makes his first purchase. It was just a Giant's Belt there, picked up for FMB. Over on the other side, Fudge just going to go for Ruby Crystal plus Null Magic to resist all of that magical damage that Cho'Gath brings to the table in these trades.
Yeah, you got to take your small wins. Fudge is winning the Grass Boar, 11-9.
Okay.
So he's slightly more health from his runes. He's doing fine in this early bit of the matchup against Cho'Gath, but Cho'Gath's scaling is also just really insane in these tank versus tank matchups. Looking for this first play of the game. Unfortunately, when B-Boy and Seos pushed Rebello out of lane, they couldn't get his flash or his ghost, so the return gank isn't that easy.
Doom is looking towards this mid lane, looking for Palafox. Ooh, forces the flash there. The Ishtal impact nearly connecting. If Palafox doesn't flash that, it would clip him on the very edge of the hitbox.
It was good timing on the gank. Palafox had used his W earlier, so he couldn't use it to disrupt the Skarner or bounce himself out, so he absolutely had to use that flash.
Yeah, he's going for these combo trades onto Kaze, trying to get Kaze on low health, and is working through the refillable potion.
Okay, Doom sees Contracts on the approach here. Did still have the rock picked up with his tail, so was ready to try to go for a quick bursty trade there onto Contracts, who just continues walking all the way back away. Frosty tries to continue being annoying here on this pike, just constantly throwing out the bone skewers, harassing Seos and B-Boy. When we're comparing the farm down here, it is actually the biggest individual gold lead in the game. B-Boy up over Rebello because of the early control they had over that lane, forcing Rebello back. But now Doom, level 6 on the Skarner, wants to contest the enemy blue buff. Palafox is rotated over first, but the Impale finds Contracts, decimating with a nice knockoff. Doom is going to be in some danger. He tries to get away. The first blood goes over to FNB, but it's a 1-for-1 here so far as Palafox is now forced back by the Cho'Gath. Rebello died in the bottom lane here at the same time as B-Boy and Seos are trying to make it 2, but they will not have the damage. Kaze following after Palafox, but he cannot go further.
The Shopify bottom lane, the pressure finally actually results in a kill for them. And I have to say, B-Boy has been playing this bottom lane so confidently, so well. He has a CS lead, he's pushing in. They get their kill down there as well, so extra money into the Ezreal.
Yeah, let's see which we get the replay of. He's sitting on Cull, Tear, and a Dagger right now, so this is all about the base damage he has on this kit. Just lands an early Q, stacks up his passive, gets another W auto, and then flashes for the final Q. Just perfectly done.
That was beautiful from him. He even landed right when they started the replay, the very first Q at the beginning, all the way past him. He landed every single Q, every single skill shot there from B-Boy. That's what you're going to have to do if you want to get the advantage back in the series. Shopify will start up the grubs and will kill them off.
He might not like playing the Ezreal, but I like watching him play the Ezreal. B-Boy is very adept at this champion as Shopify Rebellion now. Finally, they're going to be the ones with control over the grub pit. This has been an objective that Red Canids has just always been first to throughout this entire series, and now Shopify are going to collect 3 grubs compared to nothing. Of course, this game doesn't have the same level of split pushing threat from either team that some of the previous games in the series have had, but the grubs will always be nice, especially since we still have all of this time left before the plates fall to try to mine some extra money early on for Shopify.
All right, repeats on bottom side. Definitely an option here since Skarner on bottom side once again. And Doom, after finishing clearing down towards the area for Dragon, since they have mid lane push at the moment as well, he definitely has a couple of options. Skarner, of course, there are wards inside the Dragon Pit as well. And so he's just going to pull it on out here and start it up. Mid lane pressure allows him to do so, but bottom side.
Seos immediately jumps in. B-Boy ready to follow, and they knock Frosty down to 40% HP. Doom and Kaze still working on this first Drake. Is a Chemtech Drake, not the most valuable that it could be, as now Contracts and Palafox want to try to take a fight here with a 2v2, but the Mega Inferno Bomb only really hits Doom. Contracts backs away. The Impale collides onto Seos, but he's got the Unbreakable Will. Doom very low, and the Feudal Warfare is claimed by B-Boy and Shopify Rebellion as the bottom lane rotates over to win the fight.
Not the cleanest combo, but they are getting a lot of damage down onto Doom, and B-Boy being the recipient of these kills is really accelerating his Ezreal. So from the very early game, they were able to get a lot of prio, and I mean, B-Boy with these double buffs now is going to continue to try and punish the bot lane.
He's working some magic right now for Shopify. Also, you know, it's good from the mid-jungle duo of Shopify on the top side, starting at the fight, using the Vi ultimate through the Victor onto the Skarner here and making the call. Both Seos and Contracts kind of working together to make sure they can actually lock up the kill onto the Skarner and bring him down and really keep this Ezreal ahead of the curve.
This B-Boy Ezreal does not want to go home after today's series. He wants to keep competing. He does not want the year to end here today. As Red Canids, they're going to go ahead and start up the Drake here yet again. Shopify does still have a little bit over a 1,000 gold lead. They have already collected that first feat of warfare for the 3 kills that they've got for themselves. TP from Palafox returning back to the mid lane now with Blackfire Torch completed.
Yeah, but they're just going to try and get these feats completed here. There's big pings down onto that top turret that B-Boy did. He's trying to shove this wave in as fast as possible and just get damage started here on the side lane. So they gave up that Drake, but because they already have the 3 grubs, they want that first turret to fall faster.
Exactly. The power of the grubs to melt through these plates is just more and more money in B-Boy's pockets. Seos staying right next to him, ready to do the headbutt pulverize combo onto Frosty and punish this Pyke if he steps forward to harass.
Yeah, they bring 4 people over here to keep the zone up. That does mean Victor, you can see on the minimap, actually gets a mid-wave in, but Seos?
Okay, Seos jumping in after Frosty as immediately B-Boy wants to follow it up. Shopify Rebellion taking a fight, but it's underneath the enemy tier 1 turret. Contracts, Vault Breaker back over the wall, getting himself away. Kaze reinforcing here with a TP as Palafox flashes to avoid the Bone Skewer.
So that is definitely worth it for Shopify because they do stay. Wait a second, the repeat.
We are not done yet. Seos jumps in, headbutt pulverize. Frosty with a face check, and he gets punished. Now Seos flash for the auto attack, stun, follow up from Contracts. Kaze gets caught too. Rebello and Doom can't do anything in return, and Shopify Rebellion pick up another 2 kills.
And this is Shopify being clutch right now, trying to have the bounce back. Palafox going to be able to finish off this turret with the next Ziggs W any minute now. He's going to deny a few CS, you would hope, but Rebello is able to get the cannon, and that's just a massive lead. This is far and away the best early game Shopify's had all series.
So since they are clutching up, does that mean they still piss you off, or now they don't?
For those of you who missed it, yes, in Game 3 I said this team pissed me off because they have only won 41% of their games throughout the entire regular season, but then they beat teams in the playoffs when it matters. But it annoys me because they do lose so many of their games, and since technically they start split bad and end splits well, do you count this as the start of a split? That's where I'm concerned.
This series is a split of its own?
The LTA championship is almost like a new split, so that's where the concern comes in. And there is honestly still a little bit of concern because they need to keep this advantage to they need to keep this advantage going with the Ziggs and the Ezreal.
Well, the good news is that they do have all of these kills in the correct locations. They have it in their DPS that is going to look to play that assassination style I was talking about with the Vi. Vi ultimate into a Ziggs and Ezreal ultimate is going to have a lot of punch behind it. Or even when people are face-checking Seos, Seos Alistar combos have been great setup.
Ooh, Seos, though, in a little bit of trouble now. Ezreal ulti flies through. Seos with the Unbreakable Will, trying to make enough extra distance to get away from the Red Canids collapse, but they really want this Alistar. Seos falls. Frosty takes the kill on that one. B-Boy's got to be a little bit mindful now. Frosty seeing if there's any more to maybe find here with the Bone Skewer. Goes after B-Boy, but he can't get him. One more Mystic shot might do it, but B-Boy does not land it. Now Contracts trying to fight back, but he's grabbed in by the Impale from Doom. Contracts tries to escape, but he's choked. Food. B-Boy sidesteps another rupture. No matter if his teammates fall, B-Boy stays standing.
Yeah, he's got dancing shoes on. That play was 4 people from Red, though. They commit so many people, it's going to leave a lane open. At first it was top lane, Fudge pushed that lane in, then Kaze went to respond to it, so that leaves mid lane open, and Palafox's Ziggs does destroy the turret. So each time you commit heavily to one of these side lane plays, there is going to be pushing elsewhere, and getting that tower gold alleviates some of the kill gold that Red just got. And so Shopify do get something back and open up more territory to work with. When the towers do go down, that's more area for a Vi Ziggs Ezreal combo to actually get pulled off. Still though, Red finding those kills is exactly what they want to do. They chase down the Alistar and then follow it up. Just keep the play going and keep that blood flowing.
And just the confidence that they'd be able to win the fights. It actually, I feel like they just outplayed Shopify in the extended fight, because Shopify was trying to extend that play so Ziggs could take the turret, but Contracts missed his Q, Red seemingly landed everything, and the extended play really went in their favor. But because they're still so far behind on the map, and because they had 4 people bottom lane, they don't have enough people back to even think about contesting this Rift Herald.
Yeah, with the Rift Herald plus a Ziggs comp, that is a really potent combination. I usually want to see them used on side lane secondary turrets. Those are the most valuable turrets, because a Rift Herald charge damage. Just, oh, wait a second.
Oh, this could be trouble for Doom. Getting caught out here a little bit by Seos and Contracts, but they don't want to completely overcommit to Justice Skarner. Palafox under pressure from Kaze, who's found his way onto the enemy mid laner. It's disaster for Shopify as they overextend, trying to make this play. Now the wraparound coming in from FMB as Rebello Bailey escapes the Mystic shot off to the side. Palafox in the middle of 3 about to drop. Rebello dies to Fudge, and now B-Boy's got to do a lot of work, but he gets grabbed to the 2-man Impale. Massive play from Doom as Red Canids are gonna fully wipe Shopify Rebellion off of this map. Frosty's just wasted Fudge's time. He dunks him down with the X marks the spot. And Red Canids even this game up.
The Impale into the gravity field there at the end. Doom finds B-Boy. He takes down the Ezreal.
And watching this, Palafox tries to walk through the victor as they all had committed onto Doom Skarner. So that pushes Palafox out to the back of the fight. I'd say B-Boy nearly has a hero moment on the bottom side of the fight here into Rebello, but the fight is such a disaster at this point, with Contracts already being down and Palafox being trapped in the middle of the team. This may say Shopify versus Red, but it's reminding me a lot of the Shopify versus 100 Thieves games, because it felt like no matter what happened in those games, 100 Thieves would win in the fights, and that's what's happening here with Red, winning a fight with a massive gold lead.
Definitely huge for them, getting a bunch of extra gold here, cleaning them all up.
Man, oh man, Shopify Rebellion are regretting that one. Red Canids Kalunga now, they were over 3,000 gold behind 14 minutes into this game, and now they're the ones looking to make the plays on Shopify as the North representatives try to maintain control over the neutral areas of Summoner's Rift. The next Drake is alive. It's a 1-0 Drake count for Red Canids so far, 8-7 in kills, favoring Red.
Yeah, I mean, before that fight, Shopify had about a 3,000, a little bit over gold lead, and Red just deleted that gold lead immediately. Let's take a look at the setup here, though. Fudge does have his Scion ultimate ready.
Okay, Frosty wants to go for the Bone Skewer, but he does not find a target. Rift Herald summoned up here in the mid lane. Typical Herald as a dragon distraction play. This is going to give Shopify the opportunity to try to take more territory here in the bottom side river, but they do get the flash out of Kaze with the threat there from Fudge's ulti. Doom still here in the jungle. Remember, he can tunnel through the walls very easily. That's what he's going to do, but the tier 2 turret is already down. Now Contracts is going to take the Uber home.
Yeah, nice macro play right there, using the Rift Herald and the Ziggs to get an inner tier 2 turret. Very fast play. I don't think this Drake is free by any means, but he might be trying to get this bot lane turret started as well, and a fight.
Wait, we got the fight already. Nope, not quite. No full commit just yet. Frosty throwing out the bone skewer. Big Mega Inferno Bomb nearly kills Frosty. Close isn't good enough. Shopify Rebellion, still full HP bars here. Have found some significant chunks onto Red Canids, but now Shopify are going to start up the objective. Zap fires through the wall, only really hits Fudge. FNB and Fudge both very tanky here on the front line. Seos has lost half of his health now as well. Palafox and B-Boy not wanting to put too much damage into the Drake as it continues just harassing whoever might be nearby. Knock up onto FNB. Contracts jumps in over the wall as FNB is taken down. Fudge grabs the kill. Shopify Rebellion with a 1-0, removing the enemy front line. Still looking for a little bit more. The Impale is only onto Fudge. B-Boy needs a little bit more damage, and the Decimating Smash will not find a target. Shopify continues chasing after their opponents, but the Red Canids disengage.
A good 2.5 minutes there from Shopify as they position up onto the Dragon while still pushing mid-wave, and so they opt for the macro play. Rift Herald right down mid. They got that tower. After the play, Palafox is going to collect more gold on bottom side. That is 3 successive objectives there for Shopify, in addition to getting the kill onto the Cho'Gath, chasing down that front line.
4 turrets to 0 now. That's definitely the gold lead pretty much in its entirety. So a lot of standing gold for Red if they're able to win another team fight. But I like the way that Shopify slow played that. There was no over-engage trying to force the Vi Ziggs combo. They just used the poke of the Ziggs and the Ezreal and dared Red to come into them, eventually just poking down the entire Cho'Gath health bar.
And Chat, you mentioned last game that in all the first 3 games, it was Red Canids Kalunga that got the empowered boots, that got the feats of warfare. This time around, it's Shopify Rebellion who are finally first to the shoe shop and managed to get themselves something better than normal. As Frosty has to try to get away, X marks the spot defensively, jumping back towards where Fudge was. Shopify maintaining control over this topside wave, getting it pushed out. B-Boy, a very powerful game state right now for him with the Trinity Force plus Muramana combo. You can see FNB down in the bottom side of the map looking to take out the first turret of the game here for Red Canids. Frosty goes for that bone skewer yet again, just finds a little bit of harass and gets back.
I mean, Red is just wasting their time right now. The thought would be to force the teleport out by starting the Otacon, but Shopify is not willing to do that, so it is an uncontested side wave full of gold for FNB.
And he's just continuing to go and go and go. Fudge ulti ready to lead the charge as Seos jumps in. Kaze is going to be your target. Remember, there's no flash here with the Victor. Contract swoops in and they find their first kill. Now Doom's going to be the next target here for Shopify as FNB teleports in to join in and he's ready to fight back. Fudge down to 1/3 HP as Rebello finds a few auto attacks, but they don't have anybody low enough just yet. FNB looking for the opportunity to use the feast. Contracts jumps back over the wall here with the ball breaker. Seos barely staying alive with 20 HP. Doom with an impale only on Fudge. Decimating smash in retaliation. Ball breaker to follow it up, but Contracts has another one. Enemy mid laner and jungler down. Shopify Rebellion don't lose a man.
Oh, these are close fights. There are so many tanks and so much poke from Shopify, but they are playing on the edges and they have started up this Otacon. I think they should be able to get it. 20 seconds on Doom. Red is looking to come back onto the map though.
Otacon half HP. B-Boy and Contracts do plenty of damage to this. Fudge is just ready to be the distraction.
And I think the difference in this last one, we see the advantage of over-committing to a play, as we might get another chase down, actually.
Yep, we got another fight breaking out. Palafox the target there from Frosty, but there's no follow-up from the rest of the Red Canids. FNB at 40% HP, continuing to try to run as the True Shot Barrage finds a Mega Inferno Bomb. Not enough. FNB was on the edge instead of the sweet spot. So Shopify Rebellion, they will secure themselves the Otacon. 29-8 in Flower Petals is also a big injection of power that does not show up on that scoreboard otherwise.
And they got the better setup to the team fight because they had camped everyone here really, really early. So Seos and B-Boy in the brush with the control ward, and Seos is the one who started out on Kaze, and then they just full commit following up, everybody jumping in afterwards. Deleting the Victor so early means as long as you can kite back and reset the fight, you will have a huge advantage. And they do just that. Look at the Ezreal and the Ziggs throwing basically cover fire while Fudge and Seos are trying to get out of range, trying to reset. And then FNB a little bit on the miscalculation. Seos barely had enough HP to live. And so then by the time Doom gets a pull, there's no damage behind Doom, and he's pulling in Fudge. So it's the full win on the fight for Shopify.
Yeah, so close. Then they overstay, and we get yet another fight. So these teams are ready. And I love seeing the smile out of Palafox because this team looked so dejected after that Game 3 loss. I also wanted to check in on the damage, and this is what I expected to see. B-Boy has been landing everything on this Ezreal. This is him just hitting the Cho'Gath and the Skarner over and over again, having a great game on this pick.
B-Boy is definitely hitting right now, and he's hitting Frosty, who has to jump away once again. And Pyke, as you get later into the game, Pyke can definitely be just a liability. Sometimes you can get a really good hook.
Whoa, hold on. We're just going all the way in. FNB, the target of the massive burst from Shopify is plenty enough to get it done. Doom's the second one to go right after. A double kill for B-Boy again. Shopify Rebellion are just going to keep pushing. Kaze is up in the top lane trying to
just
take the tier 1 and get something back. Inhibitor now under fire here in the bottom lane. It's only Frosty and Rebello looking to try to stop this and save the Nexus turrets, but the first one is already about to die. Shopify Rebellion push all the way to the enemy Nexus before Red Canids push them back.
They might have a lot of that confidence back. They do need to retreat to go get this Drake as FNB and Doom are going to respawn. Red's looking for something.
Yeah, Fudge gets taken low there. You can see Kaze using the Arcane Storm with the laser very aggressively. He uses his health down to about 1/3 and then knows he can't chase any further.
Yeah, B-Boy here wants to kill this Pyke again. He's been outplaying the Pyke all game long, juking everything, threatening death upon him. If that hits, that...
Got the flash, though.
Yeah. You can feel, they're feeling the pressure as well, Jat. You know, this would push it to a Silver Scrapes, and this could push it to the deciding game here, and them now Red being backs against the wall, Frosty feeling it a little bit too.
And there is so much significance for this game. It is the culmination of the entire year for these teams. Loser is eliminated. The 4 teams here, Red, SR, as well as 100 Thieves who won yesterday, they're fighting for that last world slot and a chance at the LTA championship, but Shopify needs to win the next 2 games or their year's over, and Red needs to win one of the next 2 or their year's over as well.
And B-Boy with his 3 items, with his Muramana completed and transformed, and his armor penetration, and the extra slow with the Shireldas.
That's a lot you're listing off there. He's got a bunch of bullet points there.
He is the Shopify hope and power. Wait, I thought there was going to be a play contract you can see on the minimap was like right next to Kaze, the victor, but they decided not to go for it. I think that B-Boy and contracts, that's one of those moments where you have an opportunity, but you don't want to risk it.
Yeah. Well, we do have now a 4.3 thousand gold lead for Shopify on the scoreboard, and you saw the graphic pop up after that base push. It's about 1,900 gold worth of just extra raw adaptive force through the pedal advantage that Shopify have earned for themselves. So we're looking at about 6,000 extra gold value in combat power for Shopify Rebellion as they set up around the Baron.
Yeah, not to mention Frosty has had those 4 kills on Pyke, so they don't necessarily have gold distribution on their carries. Rebello there, you can see 2.6 thousand gold below his counterpart in B-Boy. That is definitely in the favor of Shopify.
Yeah, the later you get into games, Pyke is just like an annoying bug to be squashed, and can be squashed really quickly.
Well, they try to engage here in the enemy jungle, but Red Canids disengaging. Critically, though, costs the flash from Rebello, so the Zeri no longer having that summoner spell. Doom with no flash of his own either. Shopify are really putting the pressure on Red Canids here in the enemy jungle, just trying to force out these powerful tools. Fudge is happy to step up and just be annoying to these guys here. Control ward still being placed down by Red as they fight desperately to cling to control over the Red side jungle.
Shopify have very good poke here, so even though Fudge gets locked up,
yeah, Fudge does take a pretty significant amount of damage here, but the Scion is so tanky, he can still walk it off.
Yeah, and thinking about this game, it is by no means over. The Victor scaling is still really strong. There's only 2 Drakes on the side of Shopify. I feel like if there's one big fight in the side of Red, they'd slingshot right back ahead in the gold lead with the Zeri and the Victor scaling plus their front line. So Shopify have to continue to play clean and pick good fights.
And what they're doing right now is just trying to make this Baron Pit the scariest place on Summoner's Rift. Still with the 4,000 gold lead, still 2 minutes away from the next dragon spawning, so it's not like their attention is required elsewhere on the map. That bottom lane inhibitor is still dead for about another minute and a half, so they have the extra free pressure from the super minions over there as well. Shopify want to keep Red guessing about this Baron.
Yeah, it's free pressure for Shopify, but it's free gold for Red if they go to collect it, because Shopify can't get anything there, so there is a little bit of a bit of pressure that I feel like Shopify should be feeling, and Red is trying to just slowly check for vision. They have 2 blue trinkets that still are off cooldown. Frosty actually just gets a free ward into a brush that has everyone in it because he was using his stealth very well. So Red is not necessarily sweating right now with the way they're controlling this vision, as a bunch of top lane minions for Shopify die.
It's also so annoying to take the Baron when Skarner is alive as the enemy jungler because of how easy it is for him to try to tunnel through the wall and just steal it away. But Shopify, they're going to start up this objective. Yes, Skarner Cho'Gath is a pain, man. True Shot Barrage flies through, but honestly, not a whole lot of value out of that one there for B-Boy. But as long as he continues hitting these Mystic shots, he's going to be doing plenty of damage still. Red Canids thinking about their approach. FNB, 60% health. Doom tries to swoop in from the side here, but he's not going to find anybody. Seo's ready to control him, keep B-Boy and Palafox protected. Doom on the front line gets the Impale onto 2. Contracts is already down. Doom's going to be traded back for him as Fudge soaks a ton of damage here on the front line, but he is finally going to die. Seo's falls down too. B-Boy can't get in range to do the rest of the damage as Kaze flashes back over the wall. Palafox is ready to follow with a nice bouncing bomb. Rebello about to fall here against B-Boy and flashes over the wall to avoid the stun. Frosty can't quite get him. B-Boy stays alive. It's AD carry versus AD carry as FNB had to go back to base and both of the ADs are at 0 HP. True Shot Barrage barely doesn't collide. It's a bloodbath in the topside jungle.
B-Boy with the heroics at the end. B-Boy refuses to lose.
I gotta say though, Red did win the fight. They had shutdown bounties, they get more kills, they get their inhibitor to respawn, Baron is still alive, and the Victor damage in that fight was out of control. So now only a 1,500 gold lead with the Drake spawning in 10 seconds. We're gonna see another brawl.
Right back to it, here we go. Dragon coming up. This one, it's not the actual soul, so they don't have to full commit, but you have that feeling that they just are.
I mean, looking at that
That's
last fight,
series.
it feels like Red Canids is back in it because the Victor...
Oh, no teleport for Victor, so Victor's not coming. So Victor's not coming, they're not going to fight it.
They're giving the Drake.
Okay.
Everybody calm down.
All right, no, like you said, no soul. It's just soul point. It's not the soul itself. So that one is going to get knocked down there by Shopify Rebellion. And now, gentlemen, we have another 5 minutes of Baron dance time.
That fight was so long, I don't think we have time to replay it. I think it just exists in our memories. Yeah, I don't think we get to see it again.
It was a very long fight.
Confirmation is too long. We're not showing a replay.
Yeah, that was crazy. The Victor ultimate got so big so quickly off of killing the front line that only Palafox and B-Boy alive at the end. Here we go, though. Red, this is what matters. It comes down to the next team fight.
Yeah, Red pushing forward as a 5-man unit. Fudge looking for the flank here on the pincer if he can find it. FNB's not going to be the ideal target. FNB and Doom both just so tanky on the Cho'Gath and the Skarner here for the front line. Kaze also over 3,000 HP on his Victor. This was the expectation we mentioned at the start of the game. Victors like to build tanky items, especially against these Vi types of compositions. So Kaze wants to make sure that he cannot be one-shot. Also with the Seeker's Arm Guard in his inventory, makes it so difficult to get that one-shot on him. But total damage, again, man, it's just B-Boy absolutely cleaning house.
And again, these are poke champions too, so you need to get that value out of the Ezreal and the Ziggs. Try and get some poke damage ahead of the full commitment of the fight.
And I think that chart shows the way that Shopify needs to play these fights. While there's a temptation to go for the Ezreal ult, Vi ult, Ziggs ult, one-shot onto a squishy, they really just have to play these fights slow, because they do have so much more range with the Ezreal and the Ziggs. But that gets increasingly difficult when Doom has the Warmog's armor, and FNB, even though he doesn't have a Warmog's armor, has 6,000 health.
Yeah, B-Boy completing his Bloodthirster here now, though. This could be very important for making sure that he stays alive in these super close, long fights. The extra power of the lifesteal to keep the health bar topped off, alongside the shielding that's just going to make it so if there is any of these random Zeri zaps, Victor lasers, anything that might be able to clip him, it won't be nearly as effective at establishing that meaningful poke. 3 minutes left on the clock until we do have the next Drake spawn. That one will be the Cloud Soul for Shopify. Would be very powerful for them to pick up.
And this does change things a bit here. Guardian Angel on contracts levels up that strategy I was talking about to a little bit more powerful, because he can actually just sacrifice himself if he sees the angle on Zeri, because he can just revive with Guardian Angel afterwards if they go for the triple ultimate play. But it does have to be on Zeri. Victor a little bit too much on the base HP now, and then if you don't pull it off, he has a Zhonya's as well.
You see that Cho'Gath demolish? It's a half the turret. He's like,
we have 6,000 HP. Your arm's pretty big to punch the building with.
All right, look at Contracts actually from the top side. There's a control ward. If he queues over the back of the Krug's wall, he's on vision.
Okay.
Run.
Get out of there, bro.
Contracts is spotted. He's got to try to take the blast cone and get away from this, but he's caught out by the Ishtal impact. Contracts loses his Guardian Angel for free as the rest of Shopify tries to show up to rescue him. He vault breaks back over the wall. Kaze losing 2/3 of his own HP, and now FNB is going to be the target. Shopify Rebellion still scrapping a little bit here, but Contracts so low. Kaze, he doesn't get hit by the middle part of the Mega Inferno Bomb. No sweet spot, no kill. Contracts' Guardian Angel saves his life, but it still costs his flash.
That could have been a lot worse.
Yeah, as soon as I saw that control, I felt like he was going to queue over there. And then when you see a ward, your reaction is to kill it, right?
Yeah.
But sometimes late game, especially late game, you should run away from the ward.
The ward is scary.
Wards are scary late game. So as you said, Flowers, those are really critical cooldowns. Guardian Angel cooldown, Flash cooldown. Those are some of the longest in the entire game. And that is a victory for Red, getting those out of Contracts.
And what we just saw Pyke do as well, as much as in team fights late game Pyke doesn't feel like much, he's still one-shotting wards. So he's still with the Umbral Blade doing a lot of control vision. So it has powers that we can't see in these games. He cleared the vision out with Contracts losing his flash there. They've reestablished the control ward. They have a bunch of vision on Baron, so they're not stressing that much about this. Where the stress does come in is 50 seconds to this next Cloud Soul. And Contracts, with no flash and no GA, is rather far up.
Yeah, he's got to be careful about how much Gromp gaming he wants to engage in, because a little bit of an overstay, you can get caught out. If Skarner digs through the wall, if there's a Cho'Gath rupture and you're spotted and you don't know it, all of a sudden it is lights out. FNB thinking about walking into the jungle here as now he flashes away. Fudge is all threatening the front line here. FNB though still at 2/3 HP. It's hard to make a move on the Cho'Gath. Fudge zoning everybody else from Red away from the more valuable members of his team. B-Boy gets hit with a rupture, but he buffers through it with the Arcane Shift. FNB still at about half health. Red sweeping around from the side, seeing if they might be able to catch Shopify unaware. It's only a single Bone Skewer from Frosty as Shopify move back into this bottom river to look to take the Drake.
Yeah, good chunk on Cho'Gath, but he's going to base TP and come back with full health. So it's, again, just 5v5 eye contact to see how much poke Shopify can land before this Drake gets started.
All right, let's see what we get here. True Shot Barrage fired through, but it only finds FNB. Seos hanging around on the backside of the Dragon Pit. Wanted to wait there and make sure that they weren't getting pincer attacked from anybody on the Red Canids side. Doom looking for an angle to maybe tunnel through the wall here as FNB is going to continue to be your front line and soak the poke. Doom goes in for the Impale, but he does not find the right target. Now Doom taking a ton of burst. He's nearly killed, but he stays alive for now. The Arcane Storm doing work on Contracts. FNB still here on the front line. Kaze, Doom, FNB also close to death, but nobody's down here just yet. Shopify Rebellion, they're still looking to move forward. Seos does die. Rebello gets the kill on the enemy support. Shopify still trying to burn down the dragon. It's going to be secured by Contracts. FNB wanted to get the feast, but he can't quite find it. Now Fudge wants to get away over the wall, but he can't do it. Rebello goes on a killing spree. Yes, it's a Cloud Soul for Shopify Rebellion, but at what cost?
Well, Baron is on the table, so the cost could be tremendous. Seos, they saw him go into that brush with control ward, so even though there's a control ward in there, they felt like he was still in there and they pull him out. Now they're going to start the Baron up. B-Boy getting kind of low on mana, but will try and poke.
I don't see how they can realistically stop this with 2 players dead and how much health exists on Red, but B-Boy is at least trying, and Contracts does have Smite.
Okay, they do some decent damage there, but a Frosty Palafox with a big kill on the enemy support. Kaze looking for B-Boy, but he can't find him. Contracts and Palafox still in position here in the river, and it looks like Red Canids are going to be forced away from the objective. The Baron is halted in its tracks. B-Boy shifts forward right onto a rupture, but there's no opportunity for Red Canids to punish. Now you've got Seos back in the mix here as well, and Shopify Rebellion hold the line.
Now they're on the Baron, so Red is pressured to go for it. Remember, the Cloud Soul does give them all this extra speed, and I think they're just going to get it.
I think you're right. Shopify Rebellion. Even losing 2 at the Dragon fight, it is Palafox and B-Boy that just blow this Pyke up. This champion has so little life that if you catch him with a couple of shots, I believe it is 3 skill shots total, they burst him down. The ultimate at the end does kill him, but here's how they lost the first kills. first at Shopify, getting this flash out of Doom and getting the pressure themselves.
Yeah, but I'd also say that Rebello's Zeri did 8,000 damage throughout the entirety of this team fight. So the Zeri is definitely online. And it's Seos who's just around the back. I think a bit of a split call of Shopify saying, maybe we'll continue the fight, maybe we'll finish the Drake. Thank God he gets that smite, though, so they have the Cloud Soul after Fudge ends up falling as well. So what a banger game. If Shopify loses this, their year is over. They're under so much pressure right now.
Okay, so B-Boy got an E auto Q on him, and then the Ziggs ult.
That's such the edge of that hitbox, man.
Was he spamming an emote there for a second? Did he not make it out of the edge?
He's been spamming emotes all game long,
If he gets caught there because of an emote spam, he's going to want that one back. Shopify Rebellion, they're pushing into the base from multiple different angles now. Tier 3 turrets dead in top lane and bottom lane. Remember that bottom lane inhibitor has respawned from a long time ago. Mid lane Tier 3 turret now destroyed as well. All 3 inhibitors exposed in the Red Canids base. Fudge just face tanking everything in the mid lane, buying time. Kaze with a flash away, but he will not escape. B-Boy and Fudge. Seos dies for the cause, but the enemy mid laner and jungler are down. B-Boy and the rest of Shopify Rebellion looking for the game-winning push. That second Nexus turret should be respawned here. Believe that's just a graphical error. Top lane inhibitor, that'll be the next one to fall. FNB, Rebello, and Frosty all scrambling to try to defend. Fudge, yeah, he gets pulled by the skewer, but he does not care. Second turret destroyed here with the Nexus. FNB trying to get away. The Cho'Gath is tanky, but is he tanky enough? No, sir, he is not. Frosty gets back into the fountain. Rebello sent there by force. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to game 5.
I mean, Shopify lived to fight another game, and I saw that Ezreal locked in. We know that B-Boy is good at it. I'm sorry I didn't trust you, bro. I'm sorry I didn't trust you, Lounge. How did they do it?
Full confidence, full counter, Shopify Rebellion! Yeah! Let's go!
I was gonna say, in fairness, I feel like we all called out the Ezreal as being like this little low.
Melee clumped up champions, then Yunara does get a lot of value out of the Q spread with Hurricane, so.
And can still alt E after a Nocturne ult or Gwen who flies in and get out of the engage range. So it is a quick react champion still for the competition that Red has.
Yeah.
All right, let's lock in game number 5. The do or die situation for both of these teams. The number 2 seed from the south versus the number 3 of the north. Before we got into this series today, the record on the year between north and south was 11-1. Favoring the northern teams, and now Red Canids are a single game away from eliminating Shopify Rebellion.
Got to see if something happens at level 1, because Red has had something happen at level 1 in every single game, just trying to get a little bit of knowledge on what Contracts is doing early. Palafox getting a little bit collapsed on. You got to back up, guys, but Shopify's the one with the Braum, so they would be stronger level 1.
You're going to bring everybody over here now. B-Boy will be the last to arrive in the area. Fudge still hanging out in the brush so that they can't.
Can we turn off the emotes? The noise with the noise with the rat one is the squeak is getting to me.
Are you okay? Poor Kobe's going to be insane by the end of this series.
I think I already am.
I mean, my God, Kobe, get a hold.
Does that
get
not
control?
Tilt? You can't get tilted.
I can't even know. I didn't even notice it.
You're tilt proof.
Yeah.
Get a hold of yourself, man.
Watch enough Shopify, you're going to become tilted.
I see.
They're always clutch it up. But I also want to talk about Seos because I feel like we haven't touched on him enough. This is a CBLOL legend now looking to eliminate Red. So he was a 4-time CBLOL champion. He's had a really, honestly to me, really good year in the LTA North. But he's been active for super long. This guy's a legend, started in 2017, then 2019 to 2025. I feel like on this Braum is huge. You can see he's played for a collection of organizations down there. And it's a big moment here for Seos.
Well, he and B-Boy are already scrapping here at level 1 up against Rebello and Frosty on that MF Leona combo. MF and Leona can do a lot of damage if they can find the angle to go in here. And you can see B-Boy already down to 300 HP after the trading back and forth here early. But as soon as it's level 2 for Frosty and for Rebello, that means that B-Boy and Seos are backing away. Kaze, very low HP there. Palafox takes him down to 100.
Okay, we're going to continue with what we've seen all series long. Fight, 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 fight. We are brawling early. We're getting volatile lanes very early. Contracts is going for his full clear on the Maokai onto the ward now, though. So that ward for Red will give them full information on the location of the Maokai. Bottom side is going to continue to get pushed in. Rebello had been doing a really good job using the Misfortune passive, getting the extra damage there in their trades versus B-Boy and Seos, but it was just the heals and the extra cleanse used.
Yeah, Frosty trying to make a roam up, though, with how aggressive Palafox is playing. Yes, Nocturne's going to full clear, but I believe there is a ward spotting him out entirely, so Palafox is going to have to probably give a couple minions up, still staying in experience range. This is what Shopify need to do this game. In the games they've lost, their soul lanes have been demolished, but if Palafox Fudge put up a good performance, they're in such a better position.
And he was patient enough and then waited, and the cannon minion, he still is able to get the cannon. So he gave up a couple of the melees there, but does secure the cannon still.
Tries to hit that noxious blast there onto Kaze, and this has been a big deal so far in this series. Palafox struggling against Kaze in the mid lane. This young Brazilian mid laner getting the better of prominent midfielder Palafox, but this time with the Cassiopeia, there's so many opportunities to shut down the Ahri's mobility.
And I will say the last game, coming off the last one, the Ziggs game was quite good. A lot of poke damage from him as well. Of course, B-Boy was the show stopper and the big one, but let's see. They're actually getting pushed out here with both junglers hovering around. Contracts you see now channeling his recall on the bottom side. So after all of the mid lane visitors with jungles and supports, it's going to be no blood and no extra summoners.
Really quick swapping. I feel like mainly because of all the mid lane moves, they just were able to call it themselves. Trying to see if anyone got a big advantage off of this. Doesn't necessarily look like it. I want to keep tracking the Jace into the Gwen, because I feel like if the Jace falls behind, it can get really ugly.
Yeah, I mean, so Fudge did use his teleport to keep up with the swap, but he's got his CS lead, and I believe the minion wave is fairly close down there, so yeah, Fudge doing pretty well for himself with the newly buffed up Jace. Phase rush for himself as well to dodge away from the sweet spots.
Jumped in for the To the Skies there to find a quick trade onto FNB. Did get out of some of the critical spot there in the middle of the snip, but not all of it. So FNB happy enough to just keep farming up underneath the turret here. First Drake of the game is live. Mountain Drake, the tankier one, often harder to secure early. We have seen a couple of pretty early Drakes this series. Usually if we get them taken early, it's the red Canids going for it around like that 6-minute mark. We have seen in other games a very delayed first Drake take past 10 minutes or so as FNB jumps in after Fudge here. But both of these top laners are running very low on mana and working with only about half their health bar, so nobody's going to overextend here, and that's a very good idea for Fudge because Doom is lurking nearby.
Yeah, might get his recall interrupted here, even though really nice respect there by Fudge. Nope, recall's in a nice spot of fog where Doom can't see him. Love the way Fudge has played this early game, and the type of passive early game we might have thought we would have in game 1 might be happening in game 5 now.
Yeah, everybody's just like, whoa, hold on, we can't lose anymore. This is the part where it really matters. Contract's just going to keep throwing these saplings around, trying to be as annoying as possible, maintain as much information as possible. You can see the largest individual gold lead right now is for Rebello on that Misfortune over the nerfed Yunara of B-Boy, but Contracts is now still hanging around this bottom side river area. Fudge and Seos both nearby here too. Fudge with the accelerated shock blast, looking to get a quick shot there onto the wave, but it's level 6 for FNB, which means the Gwen is very scary.
All right, they're committing into the river here. Contract Sapling does get the earlier alert, but that's going to be crap for Red.
Yeah.
They've got Frosty there, keeping watch, ensuring that Doom is going to be able to get it, and then spellbook his teleport right back up the top side anyway.
And I think Shopify's just got to be really careful around the level 6 Ahri whenever Kazuya is missing, because the snap engage from Leona Ahri, especially before anyone can buy Merc Treads, is huge. B-Boy also has to flash away, but got the Leona flash out as well.
Yep. As soon as they get, the Misfortune slow on him, they know, all right, we're just going to run at him and use our flash. Even if B-Boy flashes it in exchange, we have a Hex Flash on Leona. So this is very well worth from Red. That was a very good play from them. They have Frosty show, protect the Scuttle Crab bottom, spellbook teleport up to top side, and then just run down lane, use the Misfortune, slow to ensure that they can trade flash for flash on B-Boy. And now we'll see if they can repeat target the Yunara, because the wave is pushing away from Shopify.
Exactly, and we're critically at that early level 5 point for B-Voy. Remember that Yunara can't dash unless she's in her ultimate form. So B-Voy, without that extra mobility, means that there will be more opportunities for Red to try to make those plays, especially with Doom having the paranoia available now.
I mean, just a really punishing freeze they've had set up in the top lane there. Doom's going to be level 6 as well to threaten, but Fudge is applying a lot of pressure here onto FNB. Would have to be careful if Nocturne makes his way down.
I
but
mean, they could dive though. Maokai's already here.
They're afraid of the Nocturne. They haven't seen him in so long.
Plus, it's so scary. Gwen is so deceptively tanky when she has the needlework available to try to heal up through that. So we will instead, though, see them back away. We will see Doom begin the Void Grubs again. This has been an objective that Red has controlled for the vast majority of this series.
Okay, so they do take a while to take. Contracts is actually back in his jungle, just clearing camps. They're not trading Dragon or anything.
Yeah, that was just a Hex Flash onto Seos, so trying to threaten a possible Nocturne follow-up, even though he's just doing the grubs. That shows how confident they are that these are a free objective for them. Contracts does have Faded Ashes, so he can clear a little bit faster now through that really slow early game clearing from Maokai, now that he has a little bit of AP.
What do you guys think? Are we going to get the multiple AP items Maokai this game, or is it just going to be Leandry's into tank?
I hope that it's Leandry's into tank. I hope that he just goes tank after that, because they do need a bit more front line, and they have Cassiopeia. So Cassiopeia is going to have all of your magic damage covered. You don't need any extra.
There is an argument of Bloodletter's Maokai, so Cassio doesn't have to build it. Possibly. But then they have no tank. So I agree. I want to see it, but I'm not surprised if they go double AP out of Maokai.
Does make the saplings extra annoying.
You know, Jace poke.
Very, very scary with those saplings, if they can get there for the setup first. Big difference in having to arrive first or second with that Maokai being one of the tools in your kit. As you can see, it actually is small gold advantages everywhere except top lane for the Red Canids side here, still with no kills on the board just yet. And the biggest advantage still is Rebello versus B-Voy. This Misfortune is up over 20 farm, not even 10 minutes into the game.
Yeah, and he's not getting any weaker. That early Vamp Scepter also has the Cull with the BF Sword, so really power spiking quick, going to be so impossible to push out of lane. Plus, Shopify doesn't want to make an aggressive play while Doom is sitting on that Nocturne ultimate because the counter gank potential is really high. But at the same time, because Shopify has flash on so many players, Doom doesn't want to burn that Nocturne ultimate early, so we're in this holding pattern that I think Red's fairly comfortable in because they are accumulating these small advantages.
So they're dropping mid minions right now. Pop Fox is dropping mid wave at the moment to go through jungle and wrap back around. Okay. They cleared out one ward, but the other one by Blue Buff saw them, and B-Boy gets there to clean up some of them.
It's a bit strange. That was a lot of waves dropping. They're not getting a Drake out of it either.
Yeah, this was not ideal here for Shopify as the gold lead now climbs to above 1,000 for the Red Canids side. Shopify looking to start up the Drake here at least. Cassiopeia does do a ton of damage to neutral objectives, does make it pretty easy to burn these down much more swiftly than you would normally be able to, and it looks like that will be the call. So all of that gold that was lost through the waves being left in the mid lane unattended, that will at least earn them the first Drake of the game.
Okay, that's a reasonable trade to take for Shopify. They're going to need the power of that Mountain Drake, I think, because the way I see Red's team composition fail or succeed is whether or not they can get that initial engage to work. The dive in with the Ahri, Nocturne, Leona, maybe MF over the top with Gwen on some type of flank. But if Shopify does get in a state where they can set up well an objective, have decent vision, and make Red come into them, I think it's easy, because they'd have to run through Maokai saplings, they'd have to run into Braum, and that's when I really feel like their composition is going to work. So getting an early Drake to set up that later play, I think is definitely worth dropping a wave in mid.
Yep, and the tanky Drake at that as well. Nocturne, though, looks like Doom is going to take this opportunity to go ahead and steal away some camps. Take away Raptor camp at the very least. Meanwhile, Saelis' timer there on support isn't getting any value, and bottom side, Foul Fox's flash and Contracts' ultimate.
Yeah, Palafox losing the Summoner spell there, but it is at the cost of the ultis. The Bullet Time and the Solar Flare both now down for the bottom lane duo of Red Canids, so less pressure available for the next minute or two here, as we still have not seen the Nocturne ult get used just yet. We do see Doom in the enemy jungle looking around, seeing if there's any angles or opportunities. Fudge is going to back away up here in the top side. He does have his own support hanging out next to him, but Seos has now completed the recall. 2,000 gold lead, though.
I was
12.5
just
minutes
circling
into the game.
Even though their name is red, it's all blue in the gold difference right there, because they are winning all their matchups just barely and kind of slowly choking out Shopify. This is the way they won Game 3, is they just accumulated these advantages, and then when Shopify went to make a play to rescue the disadvantage, Red would outplay them 1v2. That was like, I'm thinking about the FNB Yorick game.
Yeah.
Really dominating in that sense. So they're trying to set up a similar thing in this game.
It's scary, man, to be down this much gold this early on with no kills on the board. Looking across, it's almost a 1,000 gold lead now for Rebello on the Misfortune. Does have his Bloodthirster fully completed. And you can see the experimental Hex Plate, first item for B-Boy on the Yunara.
Yeah, it is actually a good item because Ultimate Haste lowers the cooldown of your regular abilities while you're in Ultimate form. And so much of Yunara's power is with her Ultimate form. And the importance here of also being able to have access to that for defensive properties, as you guys have mentioned, so you can use your dash. Very critical. And they buffed this experimental Hexplate a couple patches ago. They really juiced up the move speed and attack speed that you get when you activate it. So both him on Yunara and on Nocturne, of course, very common for Nocturne, but Doom also picking up for himself as well.
Plus, it's just a little bit of extra health to help you survive the dive when that Nocturne jumps in on top of you, potentially with the Leona right next to him. Now Fudge getting dove. Doom makes his way into the top side here as teleports are coming in to reinforce both sides. Doom wants to get away, but it's first blood over to Red Canids. Doom should be the sacrifice as Contracts and Palafox are ready to step up and help, but a point-blank charm on a Palafox means a 2-for-1, favoring Red Canids. Brazil strikes first, and they strike harder.
They have been starving out Shopify here. They finally go for the dive, and it pays off. 2-for-1 in this one with Kaze on the re-engage onto Palafox.
But back in the mid lane, AD carry 1v1, B-Boy versus Rebello, but the Misfortune is so strong, forces out the flash from B-Boy.
Yeah, the extra step up there. Palafox chasing after they got the 1-for-1 on the tower dive. And Leona, he didn't expect Leona to be there around the corner. Leona, right on top of his head, allowing Red to get the extra kill. Top tower also so low. Yeah. They're very close to getting their 3-kill mark. They're very close to getting their first tower mark for the feats.
They're looking to blow the game open, for sure, at this point. They're 3,000 gold up. It will increase once this turret goes down. Next Drake is going to be really interesting to see if Shopify is willing to contest it. Being down so many flashes, not having the Yunara or the Cassio ultimate, it should be pretty easy for Red to just keep this mid-prio with this Bloodthirster MF who easily outdueled the Yunara and take the next Drake.
This is so scary for Shopify because the gold lead is getting to the point where you're feeling like you can still take fights even if you're at a disadvantage. But I feel like it's 1, maybe 2 fights at this point that you lose out by a little bit, and all of a sudden you're now waiting for a time that they'll make a mistake. The game state is no longer in your immediate grasp.
Yeah, and I still want to call out Kaze and how he's been performing this entire series, but also on the Ahri in this Game 5, he is very proficient on this pick in his career. Already 1.3 thousand gold up on Palafox's Cassio, plus the first to level 11. So really going to be looking to make a difference.
All right, here we go. Possible Dragon team fight. This is coming up. This is where Shopify need to set their battle lines. Red have a substantial gold lead, but Shopify still want to be able to stack dragons. Yeah. And so they can have the Braum in front and the Maokai in front. They actually releash it.
Let's look at the items. They do have the first mythic. It's basically 1 mythic across the board, and they have their ultimates back. So
plenty of damage.
I think they can get it.
Okay, Dragon secured. Shopify managed to take that without a team fight being involved. As up there in the top lane, you can see Kaze retreating away from Palafox there with the Ahri. Now the engage coming out in mid. A lot of damage onto Seos. The entire bullet time is tanked up. The Unbreakable won't matter. B-Void barely getting away. But it's another kill for Red Canids. That's their 3rd kill of the game that earns them the feats of strength.
And Flowers, that is going to be another tower and another objective immediately afterwards as well. They get the Rift Herald. Mid lane is opened up. This is the most beautiful thing for a pick composition. Now there's more territory for them to get these Ahri, Nocturne, Leona picks. A couple of these outer towers going down, and Red keep on pushing.
Yeah, they're halfway down on the bottom turret as well, so I think you're going to try and get all 3 turrets down, likely before Shopify is able to answer with anything with the first item completion and all the fights that have gone Red's way. FNB also 800 gold up after being down a little bit early to Fudge's Jace. Shopify has this absorbing composition, but they're losing so many of the little fights on the edges that they're just getting outplayed 1v1 by Red in so many situations.
And it's pretty hard for them to stop Misfortune Ultimate. Misfortune Ultimate is going to be very damaging here. It's 2 items already for Rebello. Very, very fed early on in this game. I mean, if you like hold your Braum Ultimate, maybe like that one's pretty long. You can try and get that out there, but Red do seem like they have a lot of ways to set up very good Misfortune Ultimates.
All right, Red looking for the enemy jungle here. Contracts goes for the engage, but now they got to be a little bit careful. Paranoia shuts off the lights, and now Doom is ready to lead the charge forward. They're going after B-Boy. There's the cutoff. FNB finds the enemy AD carry. Frosty takes the kill, and Red Canids 5,500 gold ahead. Fearless in the enemy jungle, and they're not done yet. Seos trying to flash away as Doom wants the fear tether, but Fudge barely gets enough distance, and Seos just hangs on by 10 HP.
And that's the danger of trying to start a fight when you don't have any side lane pressure. The Nocturne turns out the lights. It can easily disorient where Shopify needs to go, and it allows FNB to pick off the kill on the backside.
There it is, man. Red Canids Kalunga again, another turret. Claimed by them, 6,500 gold ahead now. 4 turrets to nothing. Claimed by Shopify Rebellion. The LTA South squad came to play today, and their chances of taking this series are looking excellent right now.
They certainly are. They've got Shopify against the ropes right now. This gold lead is so big. Wait, he's even going back in to mess with them a little bit. But Shopify, they're just going to be out-itemized because the gold lead is so heavy right now in the favor of Red. Shopify also don't have any safe areas to create like a comeback play on because all their towers have been destroyed so quickly. So they're trying to like sneak around in little packs here through pockets of vision, but unable to find any sort of surprise.
All right, let's take stock.
Okay.
We got 4 players of Red with more gold than anyone on Shopify. So that's good for Red.
They are rich.
Let's check the levels. I feel like that's also going to be, I mean, not as bad, actually. So Fudge, Palafox have a little bit here. They need a miracle at this stage of the game because I'd say...
miracle named Otacon?
That might be it, actually. Red has been on such a surge since promoting Doom, Kaze, and Rebello to their main team. Made it all the way to the finals in the South here in Split 3 and are really just giving it to Shopify in this Game 5.
And I love that story. We talked about already, you know, the 8-1 from first stand, the last time that we had the conference like head-to-head. None of these guys were playing in Tier 1. They win Academy. The org says, okay, these guys are pretty good, promotes them up, and now they are all just smurfing here in Tier 1, and they're very close to eliminating Shopify Rebellion from any hopes of going to Dallas or going to Worlds, as Shopify will now see the Otacon has been started, but stopping it is a whole different matter. Doom and Rebello do plenty of damage with just the 2 of them. Frosty's making his way over, and now Kaze looking for the pick here with Doom right behind him. Fudge is already down, and Palafox is forced to use his arm guard in the middle of all 5 enemy players. FNB picks up the second one, and now Shopify have to try to get away. Doom's ready to cut him off, and the flash in from Frosty with the bullet time over the top. The Red Canids are absolutely merciless. Rebello takes another. B-Boy and Contracts barely hobble away, and Brazil shows them what they're made of.
Beautiful Otacon play from Red. They pull the Otacon away, and then they're looking for the pick the entire time. They're just showing Otacon taking a little bit of damage, but Kaze is waiting in the brush behind the Red, and he jumps onto Fudge as Shopify try and rotate over to the Otacon. They make use of their pick. Nocturne ult immediately following up. Really well done there by Red to look for the kills.
Yeah, a lot of teams will wait too long to peel off the Otacon, but they went so early on this play because Kaze had that angle onto Fudge. We're going to see this one more time. As Fudge wanted to get that blast cone, the charm keeps him inside the wall. Then the flash, the Nocturne ultimate had already started thanks to the vision from the Ahri. Easily execute him, and with the nearsightedness, there's no way Shopify can move to support Palafox. Otacon wasn't even a factor here. This was just a nice pick by Red.
Well, it was the factor in luring Shopify over to the area into the pick, and now this one.
Here's another pick for you. They are looking to chop down that tree, and yes, sir, they will. Doom picking up another one for his squad. 8-1 for Red Canids Kalunga. 8,000 gold lead. Dragon picked up, so no more stacking towards the soul for Shopify either. Shopify's hopes, their dreams, their wards, their win conditions are all disappearing very quickly.
Yes, they are, Flowers, and Red have a lot of time here to spend their money. They're resetting with everybody else, except for the solo laners, who are still pushing here. So, Kaze mid, FNB on top side. See what Shopify, like, they already needed a miracle, 5 minutes ago, 10 minutes ago, as you were saying. But now the chances of that miracle happening are also just dwindling so quickly.
I agree. What this would mean if Red finishes this game would be a matchup against 100 Thieves next week to see who can make it to the LTA finals in Dallas, as well as a world seed. That's what will be on the line next week against 100 Thieves. And it would also guarantee us 2 North versus South matchups next weekend, because we already have the #1 seeds, FlyQuest and Vivo Keydstars, and we would then also have Red versus 100.
And again, going back to the expectations set for this cross-conference competition based on earlier on this year, where it was so extremely one-sided for the Northern teams, being able to see the Southern teams rise up, fight back like this is really impressive stuff from Red Canids Kalunga. And I just think at this point, Shopify is praying for some kind of Omega throw, because barring that, I don't see how you get back into the game here. You're looking at individual gold leads. It's over 2,000 for each one of the enemy carries. It's 1,500 for the jungler and the top laner. It's 1.5K for damn Leona.
Yes, sir. And you got a broken stopwatch and an already behind Cassiopeia. He bought it because he thought that Otacon fight would be the game decider. Ends up wasting it because he got caught out of position. So it's actually more than an 8,000 gold lead, just looking at the inventories.
It is tough, man. And you can see right there, the Charm plus Foxfire plus Spirit Orb onto Contracts. That's the damage from just one cast of Ahri's 3 basic abilities. It is so difficult for Shopify Rebellion to go anywhere on Summoner's Rift where their turrets are not. And those turrets, they aren't going to last a whole lot longer. Mid lane tier 2's under pressure. Top lane tier 2's under pressure. Everywhere on the map is continually getting attacked by Red Canids as Doom goes in after Fudge, but immediately rethinks it as Shopify groups up to try to fight back. FNB firing out the needlework. Kaze takes out Contracts. Frosty's not in the fight just yet. Rebello swooping around from the side. Red trying to get out here. Bullet time. Doing a good, decent damage here onto Seos. No more comes of it.
Yeah, because they could just retreat right back to the Baron area of the map. They got the kill onto Contracts. There is no enemy smite, so that should just be Baron for Red. They're already rich enough. Teleport right back out. Here we go.
Yeah, this is going to be near impossible for Shopify to contest, but also probably the nail in the coffin if it goes over. So it looks like they're going to try teleporting in, hoping to stall long enough for Contracts to make his way from base as well.
Yeah, it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation, as the Baron is already down below 4,000 HP. Red Canids looking to secure this right here, and they've already got it. Seo stuck on the front line, taking a ton of damage. B-Boy's down first, though, as Kaze into the back, just assassinates everybody. Shopify Rebellion are erased from Summoner's Rift, and Red Canids take the Baron to march down mid.
Just a well-played Baron, well-played game, well-played series by Red, coming here to Los Angeles, showing up and potentially ending it on this push.
Yeah, this could be the very end. It's only Contracts alive here on the Maokai. Zeus will respawn in about 5 seconds, but Contracts dies first. Red Canids Kalunga rise to the occasion here in the Riot Games Arena. They will take Shopify Rebellion to 5 games, and they will end their season here. Red Canids, stay alive!
Huge victory for the South. They only got a single game in split number 1, but they take the whole series here versus Shopify. Take a bow. Well done, especially Kaze. Really impressive stuff.
Yeah, they got some mechanics on this team. Red Canids versus Hunter Thieves is going to be a banger series with the quality of team fighting we just saw here today. It also does mean the end of Shopify Rebellion's year. They were a very clutch